Alrighty, here we are. Mike, yeah, Mike good, everything good. Let me send a little message up in the wall brawl chat right there. 2v2 brackets. Always fun and hectic and incredibly volatile. World's greatest format. There we go. Let's grab this. Bracket command has been updated. Stream matches have been marked. I think we are mostly good to go here. Let me do this real quick. Oh, maybe I didn't update the name of the stream. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I totally did not. There, yeah. So I knew I was forgetting something. I knew I was forgetting something. I didn't change the name of the stream on Twitch. Amazing. There we go. Problem solved. Except for, you know, the part where it wasn't. But don't worry about that too much. Don't worry about that too much. So it's all good. All right. So that is done. Now that's good. Let us grab this. Let us do this. A slight oopsie of the lowest caliber. An unimportant oopsie. Let me post that little message in the Discord real quick. Just let people know that we're getting going here. All right. Last tournament ping for now, hopefully. Get started in 2 minutes. Please check the challenge bracket. Yeah. Let me actually update that link real quick. There we go. And okay, so who the fuck is actually in the on these teams? It's always the tough part. Omega Strikers is Rimuru Fan and Kailui. Let's see if I can find these people. Actually, maybe they're. I actually know if their challenge names are the exact same like this. If I inspect here. Okay, no, it's the yeah, I see. What is that second name that it's putting in there? Interesting. Well, I mean, it's gonna be hard to find a dude called Sir, but perhaps it's doable. Oh no, what do you know? Turns out it's very easy because it matches their Discord name exactly. I mean, hopefully that's them anyway. And then hook resets. So true. Sure. And then this is the Faceless Frog and Mies. Alright. There we go. Done. What's going on, fellas? Kyo, Bonjamin, Duststorm, hello. Am I early? A little bit. I'm getting started in a couple minutes here. I was just setting up some last second stuff. About on time, though. Just about right. My oh my. Yeah, so the 2v2s, right? So basically, I don't really care what order people go in. Just because I know sometimes the format can be a little more confusing than, you know, your average tournament. So I don't really care what order people want to go in, right? If you like pick whoever you want to send first, right? Both players will send the player. Those two players will play a first to one. Yes, I know it's very volatile, but you know it's kind of part of the fun. And it's mostly, you know, if they were all first to twos, but you know, if it was 2 first to twos per thing, it would be kind of crazy. In terms of time, anyway. But yeah, once someone dies, at that point, either, like, you know, obviously the team that just lost a guy, they only have one option for who to send in. The team that just won, if they want to switch, like if they want to send the second guy in so that everyone gets to play at least one set, that's totally fine by me. Is that a non-GM Ladiva player I see? Disgraceful. I mean, the season just reset, right? GM threshold is probably like 90 gems or something like that. I just haven't played any ranked at all on Ladiva ever since the season dropped. I was considering for a while going for GM last season, but I just don't got that dog in me, man. I just don't got it like that. Well, by I don't got that dog in me, I mean, I was like kind of close to the GM threshold for most of the season, but then as like the season started winding down and the last second grind was looming, I was just kind of like, I did not put enough. Like, I can't do that grind, right? So if I'm to get GM in any season, like the little GM badge, I'm gonna need to early on just get like a ridiculous amount of gems so that when people actually catch up to me, then I still, don't get knocked out of the top 10. But I just, I didn't commit enough. Playing too much wilds, not playing, enough Ladiva, especially even when I play Grand Blue. Gimmick characters in general seem to benefit a lot from this. For first to ones, yeah, I mean, by all means, man, if you want to run double Abel, go for it. Abel can lose a first to one just as easily as he can win a first to one, though. I don't really know that Abel is advantaged or disadvantaged in a short or long set, right? Any individual game could go either way because he's so volatile, but it doesn't mean that in like a first to 10, Abel is more likely to lose than in a first to 1, right? It's just that it is, it's on they're independent events. Every individual set, right, could just go crazy. Sure, it's been a while since I was in one of these. Thankfully, my workplace got mailed a chemical fart. So we got released early, so here I am. What are you talking about, Hogan? What the fuck? Also, where are these fellas right here? Yeah, we're missing the boys. Like Charlotta, I can see being very, very good. Again, I don't really see the idea about. I don't think certain characters are better in. Like a character that's better in first to 1 will be better in like a first to 2 as well, right? Because it would just mean that they would be winning more. Like if a character is more likely to win, like you could argue then that characters who are simpler and easier, like they have fewer bags of like fewer tricks to pull out of the bag over the course of a set, right? Like they might be disadvantaged in longer sets, but I feel like that's sort of yeah, like a character with fewer options, I suppose, is disadvantaged in a longer set. Charlotta, then, in which case I could see it, but I feel like Abel has a pretty deep fucking bag, right? It's just more so that Abel is he could just die at any moment, but Abel has a very deep variety of tools. And even like a character like Charlotta, who might be a little bit more straightforward, you can still play in a very tricksy way, right? Just because of how the, her tricks are simple, but like her jump arc's really good. She's got good cross-up buttons. Demon Flip can be kind of tricky. So the real 2v2 will be all Luanes, and that's a bracket I would gamble on. That's the 20-way Luane mirror would be pretty funny. Shit would take forever. I gotta imagine the Luane mirror is first to 1 character is better in a first to 1. Is one who can spam a bunch of bullshit that you can just learn and adapt to in a regular set. But the weird thing that I don't like, the part of that I don't understand is like, it almost seems like it's assuming it's the first time you're seeing the characters, right? Like Vikala could shoot up a tier or 2. I don't think so, right? Because like this is assuming that the only chance you have to adapt and like know what Vikala's options are when you play her, right? You can just know what Vikala does in advance, right? Like it's not like you only learn the character once you're actually fighting them. So I don't really understand the idea that like all characters are gonna just throw out a bunch of bullshit are advantaged in first to 1s, because I'm like, well, can't you just know what the bullshit is in advance and then it like doesn't matter? Why, hey, indeed. Ladiva too. I don't think Ladiva would shoot up a tier 2 if the game was entirely first to 1. I think that'd be worse, by the way, but what's going on, Warhawk? We're waiting on our first set of teams here. They don't know the password. There you go. We got there. Who knows what a character like Lancelot or Current Nier does? I've yet to see one of them in ranked as of late. That's possible then. Yeah, like if I guess if you literally don't know what the character does, then certain characters will be advantaged in a first to 1 if they're very heavily knowledge check characters, right? But I feel like that's not necessarily true in the sense that like, if we're talking about like in terms of actual like mid level or even intermediate level play. If you just like understand like what Beelzebub does or something like that, he's not necessarily advantaged. I don't think. The opposite I could see being true though, in that if a character is relatively simple and straightforward, it makes it difficult to play them in a tricky way. So being disadvantaged in like a first to 10 is something I can see. But even then, I feel like it really most of it comes down to how the player is going to pilot them, right? Because you can have a very wide variety of options and be very predictable, and you can have a very small number of options and, you know, be very unpredictable with it. Character has a lot of options and different ways to use them, so the character can be approached in significantly different ways. Think Asuka in Guilty Gear Strive is an extreme example of this. Yeah, but I feel like, does that mean that Asuka is like better in a first to 10 than he is a first to 1? Right? Because I feel like usually those characters are, you know, a character with infinite versatility is balanced in such a way that it is easy. It's either really difficult to access or manage, or like, you know, simple characters are not designed to be worse than good characters a lot of the times. In fact, it kind of, simple characters are not designed to be worse than complex characters often, right? It might honestly be the opposite. Like, a lot of the times it feels like the best shit is usually like this. It's just simple, strong, and hard to stop, right? So, yeah, the fundamental premise confuses me, right? Like, I understand the difference between a character like, like Charlotta and a character like Asuka, but I don't understand how that makes one of them better in a first to 1 than the other. Is kind of what I'm getting at, right? Also, we are missing one person. There we go. All right, so again, as you guys wish, right? Whichever first person you wish to send in, go, right? First to 1 from there, and then when that person dies, second person comes in, and again, even the winning team can also switch out their players, right? As you wish. There's no real restriction on it, except at the end of it, both people need to be dead, right? That's the only. But like, you know, what order it happens in, I'm totally fine with. I might know what Bubs does, but I'm still spot dodging Karma and dying. Fair enough. Even when I play Bubs, I don't know what he does sometimes. Learning Lance though, he's fun. Lance he's a bit of a funky character. I did not really like he does feel kind of strange these days. I was trying to teach one of my buddies who's trying to get back into Granblue, and he plays Lancelot, and like the character's a little weird, man. The character's a little weird. Also, Lucilius Mirror immediately. I think this might be the first. This might be the first Lucilius Mirror I've seen since he got nerfed, right? I wonder how this works. Send him over to us in Lance Corp. Honestly, you know, be an interesting idea. Use Zombie Lucy, yeah, bro. We'll take good care of him. Asuka is significantly better in a first to 1. Imagine if you're used to fighting TC3, but they play TC2. You practically learn 3 matchups to fight him eventually. It's effectively. It's obviously an extreme example, but you know. But wouldn't the same exact thing, I mean, apply in a first to 3 or a first to 5 as well? Like, if you just don't know things about Asuka, right? You're probably not going to do a very good job of if you're just getting knowledge checked by a character. Maybe you could argue that you can have some trial and error and eventually figure it out. But even then, right? Like in an example like that, it's like aren't you fucked regardless? Like, if we're saying that people just don't know what characters do, then fair enough, right? But assuming you actually like look at that, I feel like that's more that certain characters are like benefit more from people not understanding what they do than really anything to do with the set count. If you don't know what if you don't know what Charlotta does either, right? If you don't know that, like, I've seen people get infinited, right, by Charlotta's medium Sword of Lumiel, right? They just like she just goes auto combo medium sword, auto combo medium sword, auto combo medium sword. I've seen like S rank players block that for like 45 seconds. If you don't know what a character does, yeah, I mean they'll be advantaged everywhere. Right? Ow. I wonder if this is a good or bad matchup for Lucy to build blade level in, right? Because Lucy's blade level build has become 2v2 brawling indeed. Lucy's blade level build up has become very. Also, I think I have the names backwards. I know Mies is on Knucklehead Bros. The Lucilius mirror makes it harder to figure out, but yeah. Lucilius has become a very matchup dependent character. It feels like in some matchups it's actually quite easy for him to get to blade level 5 still. And of course, you know, BL5 is just as strong as it always was, right? There really has been no nerfs at all done to that. Was that? God, I forgot which fucking Lucy one, man. I don't know. I think that was Sir, right? Yes. Okay. So that was the Omega Strikers. That's going on, Snoop. I was only blocking that infinite because I was eating a hamburger. Yeah. Someone's in my eyes. My dog stepped on my controller. It's the whole thing. It's the whole thing. I saw you, by the way, Snoop. I saw you talking about on that video I was saying, or about how we maybe like ways we could buff Vayne. I remember you being like, I think it was you, right? You were like, I got Vayne to Masters in 2 days. Nicole is the worst character in the game. First off, well done. Second, I will say though, I don't think I really, when you're smurfing on people, a lot of characters are a lot better than they are, right? Abel feels fucking top 1, man. When you're, if you're like a master, like smurfing an S+, basically. Character feels like he's maybe the best character in the entire game. Soares versus Nier. Wow, look at that. Is there a Grim in bracket today? I have no idea. A lot of the team names, I don't know exactly who's in them, so yeah. I guess they did with a simpler character, the opponent has fewer options you have to consider when learning how that player plays. Potentially, yes. Well, I feel like I'm not trying to be purposely obtuse here, by the way, because I understand that I what you guys are saying is not this really quick. What you guys are saying isn't crazy. Right? I'm not being like, what are you? I don't even. But my point is more so that I feel like usually when characters have fewer options, those options tends to be stronger or cover more things, right? It is not usually the case that characters are given a very wide toolkit of incredibly strong tools, right? Happens sometimes, and those characters tend to be top tier. Right? There's no Grim, isn't there? I have no idea, maybe not. I couldn't tell you. Again, the team names, I don't recognize who's who from the team names, so I couldn't tell you at a glance. The Soares just run out of armor there? On his 5U, he can only hold it for so long. Do you play one-handed fighting games from time to time? I feel like Gran is top 1 if smurfing S+, yet. Then going over what I think, bust for Vayne. I think the call is worse since her buttons are so much worse. I feel like her buttons are significantly worse, yes, but her zoning is significantly better, right? It is way harder to get in on the Kala trying to keep you out than Vayne trying to keep you out, right? Ow. Now, no one's zoning is airtight in Granblue, especially, certainly. But, like, Vikala is much better at keeping you at range. Oh, okay, sure. Oh, God! He whiffed his meaty. Oh, that was actually a pretty good interrupt. There is a gap. The only, I believe, the only versions of that 2-2, even from cancels, that are plus on block. Well, I mean, is the M and the U version, right? So if you do block that 2-2 afterwards, I mean, sometimes Nier can maybe set up into things, but you can often find a gap there. I know Raw, at the very least, I know that Raw 2-2H and 2-2L are minus on block, right? Pikala is one of the better characters on Lunalu. Vayne wasn't too bad either, though. I mean, again, no one... We can talk all we want about who the worst character in the game is. There is no, like, garbage-ass character anymore, right? Like, I mean, you could maybe argue there wasn't even one at launch, but especially now, right? A lot of the bottom tiers have been given good stuff, right? A lot of the universal mechanics, right, have been made a little bit more fair, right? Like the disparity in how good 6XLs has gone down immensely. The disparity in how good it is to have a meterless versus non-meterless DP is also significantly lower, right? So like, they're really like, there really isn't, no matter who bottom one is, if it's Vikala, if it's Vayne, if it's some people say Anila, whatever it is, all the characters are like viable and pretty scary, right? It really is just a matter of, some characters are just inherently going to, some characters are inherently going to have their game plan work out more consistently than others. So when you talk about, playing in a tournament and you have to beat 16 guys before you lose twice, there's going to be better options, right? Both make me sad in different ways. Fair enough. Fair enough. Also, thanks for the 30 bits again there, Snoop. Much appreciated. Keep forgetting that move is a -4 on block. The Soares flex. Also, this is horrifying. I don't like being anywhere near install Soares. Sir is a braver man than I am. Oh, he's on chip, though. Nice. So that's the thing about Soares, right? Even though, so first off, that dash punch armor takes 11 frames to start up, right? So it is, it's not exactly a super good defensive option like that. But also, even once the armor starts up, it's not guard point, right? It's armor. So I think he takes half damage. He might take half damage while he's armoring things. Meaning, if he's that low on health, you can certainly just swing into him and kill him through the dash punch, right? Now I wonder who would win in a fight, Heihachi or Soares? Two old men who push the limits of the human body through pure nonsense. I don't know much about, if you're talking about like actual fighting game power scaling, I have no fucking idea. Ow. Kazuya is like a nuke, right? He's like a nuclear warhead in some ways. Didn't he fire like a laser beam in like the Tekken 8 story? He fires a laser beam out of his eyes that destroys every satellite in the sky at once or something like that. Can we join the brawl? A little bit late for that, I fear, Fender. It's a cute emote, Snoop. 2v2 this week? Currently not beating 16 guys, but I am eating 5 guys. Yeah. He survives an orbital laser in 7. Yeah. So I think like, you know, that's some pretty impressive stuff. But at the same time, I feel like Granblue is this weird fucking Granblue's in that like weird anime like shit just happens. Like they don't care about realism at all, right? It's like this person this person cuts through dimensions with their sword because their friends love them that much. So Granblue characters have thrown hands with gods. Yeah, exactly. Like Tekken 8 is I think attempting it's more like MCU-ish, you know? It's got a little bit more of a realism bent to it. And that sounds crazy to say with the MCU. I'm saying like people are more so fighting and destroying cities rather than going to alternate dimensions to kill God. No, it happens in the MCU, certainly. I mean, Doctor Strange and shit. You get my point. Shame, still good luck to all participants, indeed. Not an Oompa Loompa, by the way. Strongest D-rank Saurus in history. Reverse 2-0 there to take it down for the Knucklehead Bros. Great name for a team. Yeah, the reverse 2-0 sweep. Tekken 8 is grounded in realism. Okay, listen, that's not... I'm talking about in reference, right? How powerful would Goku be if he could Brave counter in canon? I mean, give Goku pre-patch Brave counter? Grounded in realism, kangaroo genetically engineered boxer. Listen, you say that. That is more like they're trying to give some sort of scientific grounding for this, like, you know, it's not just like, oh, it exists because that's how it is in the world. It's like, yeah, this is, you know, this like scientifically, like, obviously it's fantasy tech, right? But they're like, oh, you know, like we're like making scientific you compare. Okay, you guys are making me sound the same. Compared to 15-year-old Heihachi headbutts a meteor. Sure, bro, that is still, I promise you, that is still more realistic than 15-year-old turns blue and shatters the dimensions to go kill God, right? That is still more realistic. Trying to ground Tekken in science? Relatively, comparatively, right? Comparatively. To Tekken kind of does that too. Oh, in which case, fair enough. I was not aware. I thought Tekken was more like, you know, people like getting nuked and shit like that. Less so people JRPG style going and killing gods. Jin turns yellow and kills a demon god thing. Oh, actually, who would have thought? Well, never mind. But is it actually a god, or is it just some what ogre? Isn't that the guy from? Isn't that the new DLC? Tekken's pretty anime. I didn't know. I honestly thought, yeah, I thought Tekken was a lot. You know, it was a little bit more just like motherfuckers getting nukes dropped on them and shit like that. Sonic turned yellow and kills a god of destruction. How is this Tekken? How is this Tekken? Reject realism. I want to see absurd crap. Yeah. I'm not trying to call ogre a demon god in a proper sense of god. I mean, but you know, if we got devils walking around and shit like that, it's pretty fantasy at the very least. All right, looks like we are still waiting on this match here between the Azure Assassins and the Bozo Bunch. They beat the BS powers out of each other, then throw regular hands. That's pretty funny. Kind of, you know, it's a little Asura's Wrath build. Well, I guess Asura's Wrath's probably the opposite, right? They start off throwing hands, then they develop the BS powers to shatter through the multiverse. According to a quick global stat calculation, I'm one of the unluckiest people in the world. Tekken started more real, but it's always been more of a fantasy 3D fighter. Fair enough, fair enough. Tekken's very silly, but I think Granblue is far sillier. I've realized I don't know enough about the lore of either of these games to really speak on it intelligently, right? Tekken 6 final boss is Azazel, an actual demon. Well, there you go. Okay. Oh, yeah, it's the shit that's in Zafina has that shit in her hand or whatever the fuck, right? Kazuya straight up goes, me not having devil powers will not stop this ass beating. Yeah. A bear can bludgeon you to death with a robot fish. Peak realism. I feel like people are sort of misconstruing what I meant, but... Can we watch Heihachi get strapped to a rocket? I'm sorry, what now? And so can Vegeta. Again, I would argue that a bear beating you to death with a robot fish is more realistic than, like, you know, yeah, like, you know, like if we take fucking someone shaking an infinite universe just by existing or something like that, right? I feel like a bear beating me up with a fish is still, it's on a spectrum. It is more grounded in reality than that, right? Virtual Fighter is the more realistic 3D fighter. Fair enough. It's power creep. You gotta keep having cooler shit happen in every story. Dead Narmaya and Dead Horse Girl. So can Vegeta. Fish beatings. Tekken has its own absurd things. Everyone speaks their own language. Everyone understands each other. Even bears. Heihachi seeks for demon genes and marries with a demon wife. That's fair. It's not like I'm firing the multiversal bullet firing. I'm the multiversal bullet firing gunman. Yeah, exactly. Right. I'm not arguing that Tekken is realistic in that, like, I'm like, oh, I can see all of that happening in the real world. But, you know, again, from my perspective, I thought it was more just like, guy gets nuked and survives. More like, yeah, guy gets nuked and survives versus guy, you know, like, for example, Like this, the most absurd. Like, you know, guy has like literal observable universe sized mecha, picks up galaxy and throws it at other universally sized mecha. Like, you know, Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann. I would argue like that is less realistic than guy shoots a laser beam out of his head and breaks 1,000 satellites. You know what I mean? Right? I'm not saying that Tekken is realistic. I'm saying that in the grand scheme of anime bullshit, picking up a galaxy and throwing it at someone, I think is less realistic than, you know, than a guy getting nuked and walking it off, right? Neither of them are realistic, but that shit's a spectrum. Vegeta versus Kuma? Who wins? I mean, Kuma's broken. Alright, do we have... We're missing one individual. Is it Hogan? We're missing Hogan. Oh no, he wants to be already something. Okay, hold on. We have Gret, we have Casino. Indiana Jones fridge deck, survive any nuke. Gret, Casino, yeah, we have. And then we need Hogan and Norm. I'm not sure if they are here, but I'm gonna add them anyway. There's Norm, there's Hogan. Oh, okay, perfect. Me and Don are Team Mungus, so we were just watching for now. Gotcha. I thought people had changed their names for a sec. They also fight in space, and the solar stage drops on Earth. The meteors, Jin and Kazuya fight each other with demonic powers. Fair. My face with the character with demon blood sometimes becomes a demon, versus when the god I'm fighting in phases out of reality and then fuses with Big Lady. Yeah. But listen, I'm also fully willing to believe that Tekken has just as insane anime shit. You know, it was just in my conception. I didn't think it quite did. I am not an expert on the lore of either of those games by a long shot. Bozo Bunch. There we go. Alright. And so Shield and Sheep is Norm and Hogan right there. The Bozo Bunch is Casino God and Gret. Yep. Sheep, indeed. Much sheep, very well. My bad, guys. I didn't see a ping. I actually didn't ping, because a lot of people just joined anyway. You know, but I definitely should. They're both crazy. We'll have to see it. Yeah. Tekken takes a page out of Bleach's book where the demon inside the MC just wants to protect him. Yellow dragon looking ass. Haha! Ooh. Lots of PlayStation skins running around. Sheep spotted. Can I get a big lady in chat? Any big ladies in chat? Versuja feet pics. The Versuja visual mod that removes her pants. I need it immediately. Fukuhara. You know who else is a big lady? Galleon. In many ways. Okay, sure. We have a little wake up reversal. I know a lot of people when the patch notes first dropped, a lot of people were calling this Uno guy like, you know, he was supposed to be like one of the biggest winners, but I feel like he's I feel like Uno has always been good. Right? I'm not quite so sure that I'm like I looked at that patch and I was like, oh, you know, Uno went from like top 10 to top 1, something like that. I think that sentiment has died down a little bit, but it was certainly interesting to see when the patch first dropped. We're going to the Galleon speech again? No, we're not. It's fine. Bless the sheep with some buffs. He's really good, but no one wants to play him. Yeah, I agree. I think it was good before season 2. I think it was good, honestly, before season 1.5. Do we know the Galleon release dates? No. We live in a universe where Uno is top 5. Do we? I feel like I don't think we do, but maybe. We haven't been too far off from that universe for a while, though. He's been like top 10 for probably like most of the fucking game's lifespan, honestly. Ow. But yeah, we don't know when Galleon comes out, as far as I'm aware. Again, I would expect name top 5. So Grimnir Beatrix, probably. And then Versuja's somewhere in there. You can tell me Potential Woman all you want. I still think Zeta's somewhere in there. Catalina's somewhere in there. I think all 5 of those characters to me seem better than Uno. Even if it's not, if you want to remove Zeta, Belial is probably still in that fucking discussion. I'm not gonna lie to you. Right? Honestly, I think Sora's is probably better than Uno as well in this patch, but it's not that far, right? Like, there's a couple characters I would probably put before we start talking about Uno right there. Seox is also probably still in that discussion above Uno. Uno's always been really good even before 1.5. He has just gotten better, it's true though. I'm glad Uno is back to not being played as much. Yeah, the Versuja bikini skin. Yeah. Source above Uno is crazy to me. Maybe I feel like this Source fellow was really good, and then he got. I mean, I think he really likes He really likes like all of the universal changes from season 2, and otherwise got no changes. And a lot of characters better. Oh, a couple of characters better than him got a little bit worse. I can agree he's good, but like top 5? No, he's not top 5. I think like I think he is probably. I mean, he's in that same level as Uno in my opinion. Like I have like a 3-way split of like a top tier in my head currently, which is probably that like. You know, like Grimnir and Beatrix are just like the 2 best characters in the game. Maybe Catalina's in that discussion as well. Maybe Zeta's in that discussion as well. Maybe Versuja's in that discussion as well. But like those 3 are all like a step down, like a small step down from Grimnir Beatrix probably. And then like I would still like Belial and Soares. I'll put as like 3rd class citizens in top tier probably. Where would you place Narmaya in your team list, tier list between average or good or solid average? I think Narmaya is I might be a Narmaya down player because I actually did not consider how good the U-Transient buffs might have been for her. So I didn't really think she moved very much, right? First thing, top 5 is somewhere something like Grim, B, Versuja, Zeta, Uno. Yeah, I mean, I agree with almost all of that. And again, Uno, I don't think it's an insane thing, but I feel like I don't quite see it with Uno, right? I don't think Uno is like, if I was to keep going there, right? Like say hypothetically for the sake of argument that I'm correct, right? That it's like Grimnir, Beatrix, Zeta, Versuja, Catalina, Soares, Belial, or Belial Soares, or something like that. And then, like, if we keep going, it's like probably Seox, and then like Uno, or something, right? So I don't think it's an insane thing to say. And I'm not like, bro, Uno's not top 5, he's only top 9. I think at that point it's, you're splitting hairs. But at least I don't see the argument for that having changed post-patch, I suppose, right? If you thought Uno was there before 1.5, or sorry, before 2.0, then fair enough. Let's say hypothetically looking at it, yeah. If you thought he was there before 2.0, then fair. I'm not really sure how 2.0 helped him very much, right? But yeah, Narmaya, I might be a Narmaya down player at this point, accidentally. This guy might not have considered how good the transient buffs were for her, because I would have said, like last patch, I would have said that she was, somewhere like a high mid tier or something like that. Playing a best of 3 with no warm up right after coming home from work might have cooked me. Yeah. It didn't really help him; it just nerfed people who were above him. It's a fair point. I still don't think it nerfed, except for maybe Siegfried. I don't think it nerfed anyone above him to be worse than him, though, right? How long are we keeping Zeta in top 5, even though I don't see anyone play her? A character's popularity. I mean, for example, right now, we're talking about fucking, Uno, I mean, he shows up in the intermediate brackets decently enough, which is nice. Well, I mean, Uno was literally the meme of the guy no one plays. We're talking about him potentially being top 5, right? I don't think I'm going to really take it. Oh, God. Too far. The idea that like this character is not played, therefore they must be bad. So I'll see people skyrocket Matera and Fairy as top tier. No. Potential Harvin. Yeah. That's how I somewhat feel with Grim, but Grim is busted. Again, I really don't think like I don't know how people judge character strength. I don't really judge it by like player base, right? You say Grimnir and Beatrix players can count as elo inflated characters? Probably not. Because, well, okay, for 2 separate reasons, right? Because one, Grimnir especially, for example, is not a character that most people are just going to pick up and start playing to his max potential, right? When I talk about Grimnir being potentially the best character in the game, I'm talking about, when like fucking Zane is playing him, not when like the random dude who beats you in S+ is playing him, right? 2, the reality of the matter is the tier list that we are discussing here is for people who are better than me in the video game, right? Like people who are like significantly better than me in the video game. People who cook me like 10-0 or 10-1 in a first attempt, right? And I'm okay, right? I'm decent at Granblue, right? I'm so like we're talking about like this tier list doesn't necessarily even apply to like it applies to like something above my skill level in my opinion. And yes, some things are the same, but like if you're in like S rank or S+ or something like that, you're the best character in the game is like Ladiva. All right, the second best character in the game is Avatar Belial, and the third best character in the game is like Fairy or something like that, right? Like the tier list is completely different for like 90% of the population. So the people who would be elo inflated, quote unquote, are probably not. I mean, Beatrix probably still counts, right? Beatrix probably is still one of the best characters in the game, even at the lower ranks. Yes, but like, it's a completely different discussion when we talk about the people who might potentially like, this person's an S++, they deserve to be an S+, and Beatrix is carrying them there. I'm like, well, maybe, but like, again. It really is a completely different discussion of who the best characters in the game are. We're not talking about the best players in the world, right? Or at the very least, like the top like 3-4% of the population of the game, right? Smash, it feels like hot garbage as an Uno player. And so I feel like Uno would be pretty good. Like does Uno have like any horrible garbage matchups? No amount of changes will quell the Uggo debuff. He's not Uggo. He's a cute little guy, man. I feel like Uno's like one of the best things about Uno. I feel like is that he is very. I guess bad matchups for Uno will probably be where a character has is balanced around having something, you know, that is like -7, -8, punishable by mediums if they get blocked, and Uno just can't do it, right? Because that is Uno's biggest weakness, right? And that is, like, to me, one of the like the fact that there is just some shit that people can get away with on Uno that they can't get away with on anyone else is like the one thing that kind of holds me back a little bit. Like, you know, for example, Zeta's Rhapsody. What does Uno mean? Andre. His Japanese name is Uno, but when they localize it out to the global version, they change them from the names, because if you live in a world, like if you speak like Spanish and Uno is an actual number and not a name of a guy, it'll be weird. Uno is Andre. Uno's only bad matchup pre-patch was Belial. Fair. But yeah, I feel like stuff like, you know, like Zeta's Rhapsody follow-ups being unpunishable for Uno, for example, is like one of the, like, it's a weird thing, right? Like things that are like -8 and spaced, you can't really do anything about. But again, that's not like, it's not like it's a crippling thing, but it is like, I think it could make some matchups potentially worse for him, right? I also don't play Uno's, take what I say with a grain of salt. I fully admit it might be a skill issue, but the counter hit change on parries makes a miss parry against Vayne 214X feel like ass, then you get counter hit into a billion damage. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, you're not wrong about that. I think that's exactly what it's supposed to be, though, right? It is, the whole point of that is to make it so that when you miss your meterless reversal, it feels like ass and you die, right? They really wanted to increase the risk of those options, because they were a little too good pre-patch, at least, you know, in the devs' estimation. It's not the meterless reversal though. Oh, the U parry? It's just U parry. U parry is counter hit recovery. Is it counter hit? It's not counter hit recovery. It's counter hit in between the hits, right? Is that right? Because I know Uno's had this problem too. She looks kind of big, boring to me. Who are you talking about? Narmaya? She has a very big player base as far as I saw. Who are you referring to, good sir? That was a Vayne W, correct? Yes. Okay. Hogan carrying it down. Is Uno's U parry counter hit between the hits still? Because I know they removed that when they added counter hit recovery to all meterless reversals. They removed Uno being counter hit in the middle, right? Because his parry goes like and then it's a shoulder charge. That gap, he used to be the only character in the game you could counter hit in like the middle of the reversal like that, besides like Gran and Jita, which I also removed earlier, right? I think they removed that, then added counter hit recovery, but it's possible that they kept it for U parry. Oh, you're talking about 5U. Oh, I mean, yeah, same idea, right? They made that Uno's is a guy. I know he looks like a little guy, but he's a dude. I mean, 5U. They added counter hit recovery to that too in the patch, didn't they? Stuff like that, I think also, or is it always counter hit for that? Was Uno's 5U parry always counter hits, or was that? I think a lot of stuff like that got counter hit recovery in the patch too, right? If it didn't used to have it. I'm actually not sure about that. But yeah, I guess it's the same idea, right? Yeah, whiffing your parry is designed. It's supposed to feel really shit, right? Death's Paradise versus Knucklehead was 2-1 Death, who put 2-0 by accident. Yeah, that was in this patch. Yeah. So again, it is. You're not wrong. Like it's not a scrubby thing. Like that is what they designed it to be, right? They want it to feel worse to whiff your parries like that. I know JU didn't have counter recovery. Not sure about 5U. I guess it didn't. Yeah, he said they added it in this patch, which sounds reasonable to me. That sounds like it tracks with the. I think they did that to a lot of stuff like that.
This person is incredibly smart and attractive.
Also, Phantom. Thank you very much for the 5 months, the Prime. Gold brick, indeed. Learning the matchup, I see Uno just 5U the 214X. Now if you miss one, you blow up. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's a bad thing, though, right? Like, if you have a like, if you can just parry his, like, fundamental thing that he does, right? That's really strong. So, if he can bait you out, or if he can switch the timing on that, I think you should probably die for that, right? It's an issue with it being a rare matchup, and all the videos I see outside the game are in previous patches. Yeah. Also, what are we doing here? We got... I guess let's do Death's Paradise and Mungus, I suppose. I wish I could add, like, team names. And Mungus is Honko and Don Mosquito. Everyone get in here. Are we doing the losers round 2 first? We'll do it after winners round 3, I guess. All you guys talking about intricacies with parries that still get hit with minus frames into match parry. But yeah, Uno is generally not considered, like, they're not a super popular character. Which I really feel, I feel like they probably, I feel like they'd be kind of fun to play. I haven't played them though. Like, you know, once I actually get him to, like, if we, you know, start playing him to master or something, maybe I'll figure it out. But he seems like he's got some fun stuff. I think it's just visually he's not appealing to people, right? Has always been the problem. But yeah, Vayne Uno, I wonder how bad that matchup actually is. It's an interesting idea. People told me there's a big gap between Masters and GM. Is it really that big? Yes, I would say so. Like, if we're talking about, like, you know, someone who just got into Master, or, like, someone who's newer in Master who can't really climb, and the people who are consistently getting GM, the gap is pretty huge. I would probably say, I mean, this might sound hyperbolic, right? But if we're say, you know, not the best players in the world are not necessarily the ones who are grinding ranked the most, right? But the general idea is that, you know, the gap between the worst Master and the best Master is probably bigger than the gap between, in terms of just how much time you need to put into, how much effort you need to put into to bridge that gap, right? The gap between the worst Master, quote-unquote, and the best Master, quote-unquote, is probably bigger than the gap between that same worst Master and, like, a guy who, you know, who's in, like, A rank or something like that, or S rank. I could be even more hyperbolic and say it's bigger than a guy who just picked up the video game, but it really is, like, so much time and effort to bridge that gap, right? So I would say yes, that's true. Not necessarily GM, because GM can be like, GM is a weird, like, floating points thing as the season goes on, but just generally the skill gap in a Master is very big, right? The gap between GM and Master feels about as big as S and Master, yeah. Something like that. The skill gap within Master is very big. Like a guy who just, you know, won his S++ like Masters promos and got into Master, versus, you know, like the people who are consistently, like, you know, hitting GM and stuff like that, feels pretty big. And that's not even, those people are not even, like, those are, you know, those are the online warriors. Those aren't even, like, the quote-unquote best Masters. Like, the best players in the world, right? Though sometimes they are. Like, you know, for example, Gamera happens to be both, right? He happens to be one of the best players in the world and also, like, the biggest rank grinder in the fucking universe, right? Owie. Why? Yeah, this Narmaya character, I don't know, man. It's very, like I say, I'm pretty good at the game, and the only game I've won against Havo is against a character he just picked up. Right. Gap between you and me is smaller than the gap between you and Toro. Oh, for sure, yeah. Like, if we're talking, again, we're talking, like, the gap between a Master and, like, the rank grinders, right? I'm talking, yeah, like, I'm not even, if we're to talk about the gap between, like, a Master and, like, the actual best players in the world, that's where we can genuinely say that it's, like, a bigger gap than, like, you know, that same Master and a dude who's, like, D rank, right? We flipping our way to Masters with this one? Yeah.
Believe in victory.
PPP having like 20k gems and not winning any brackets. Yeah, I mean, you know, definitely you have to be pretty good to be getting all those gems, but it doesn't necessarily correlate to, like, your offline tournament performance. Right? Now I'm doing some juicy combos, fun to watch. Normally, he's a pretty pretty dynamic character, certainly. You certainly can play her in a pretty one-note way, but she's even that one-note way is kind of fun, to be real with you. Just flip. I like this Nier hat, the eel hat. Yeah, it's pretty goated. But yeah, I wonder because so I kind of got interrupted myself, as I tend to do, talking about this earlier. But this Narmaya character, right? Also, that is I just realized I have not changed the overlay at all. This is Mungus versus Death's Paradise, and it's 1-0 Mungus right now. Mungus? Is it Mungus? Among Us? But yeah, Narmaya is interesting because U Transient is basically like it's like an anti-fireball tool / like pseudo, like this invincible option that she has now out of Genji, which sort of amplifies like that stance being sort of like the full screen neutral control stance, right? Is what Genji already was, and they've given it a couple buffs like that. They made Setsuna a better zoning option, right? All of that sort of stuff. That U Transient change does like it leans it even further into that, right? I've been made aware another Able main got Masters. I must go send the gift. Yes, Amogus. But yeah, so I do wonder. It's the kind of thing that might seem a little bit. It's like, oh, whatever, you know, like in Genji, like one of her moves is a lot more useful now. That's cool. It's like a nice buff, but it's not the end of the world, right? But when you talk about characters, you know, Narmaya is a pretty versatile character in that she has, you know, a stance that is very strong for rushdown and a stance that was pretty good for like neutral and full screen control, right? When you start plugging up like a holes in a character that doesn't have very many holes, right? It can really have a outsized effect compared to what you must, what you might expect, right? With a character that is already pretty versatile, like just cranking up that versatility again can start to have it's like almost asymptotic effects, right? Like going, this is not going to make sense, but you know, for the sake of the mathematical analogy here, give me a sec. Going from like 50% versatility to 60% versatility is not as impactful as going from 80% to 90%, right? Ow. I was off H command grab. What a goat. I only wish that I could do something asymptotic. Don't you love math, fellas? Oh, okay. Sure. I'm also on our main learning curve is doing some good natural pressure and wall combos. Oh, God. I wonder... I suppose Nier couldn't... I wonder if Abyss could have killed there. Almost makes me wonder if they had done like a 2-2H after the 2-3-6H or something. Could they have found... Cause that was no Brave points in Armaya. I know that's not necessarily like the best way for Nier to start a combo like that, but I do wonder, because that is the one sort of nice thing they gave her, right? Her U skills... I don't honestly know if they've been... I'll probably... It feels to me like probably overall her U skills got nerfed pretty heavily, just because you can Brave counter them on delay and get rid of death. And then even if Nier can punish you for that somehow, she goes auto combo into 5U, you take 2,000 damage and make her the worst character in the game. But they did give her U skills a buff in that they can be used to start a chain of canceled specials now, right? Which is, I mean, like that 214U into 236 right there, she couldn't have done that before 1.5 when they shot her in the fucking head, right? So, I do wonder if there was a possibility to potentially murder there. That is... that April Fool's portrait for Charlotta truly is something. Really highlights her most important qualities. The crown and the sword. I can't hear you. Speak up. Speak up, Nier. And the box she stands on? Yeah. If I don't, who will? Super Saiyan 3 Goku reference? Charlotta might go. Wait a minute. She's blonde. She's short. She cares about her warrior's creed and her pride? That's not your girl. That's the Prince of All Saiyans. Hold on a second. Do we know if Charlotta's a wife guy? Any knowers? Ow. Sure. Yeah, that's one thing that Charlotta can do that... I don't think, like, by and large, a lot of the cast can't to the same extent, at least with the same ease, right? If you can jump your throw attempt and actually get a full, like, jumping combo punish for it. Whereas for, against many characters, if you whiff a throw meaty and they jump it, you're safe, right? Charlotta hits the ground so much faster that there are many more situations where she can actually punish you like that. But Charlotta doesn't have a messed up hairline. It could be a wig. Sounds like Brick's gonna be joining the Charlotta hive mind. Before I put it to the people to spend 500k channel points and tell me who to play to master, Charlotta was gonna be number 3. It was gonna be Soares and then Vasaraga and then Charlotta. But it just it never panned out that way. She seems very fun to play. I also apparently I'm like one of the biggest Charlotta down players in the whole community, right? So like I am very curious to play her and see like does she have like way more sauce or like way more strong setups or something like that than I thought. Charlotta's bangs cover her Saiyan hairline. Yeah. It is fucked up, Saiyan's hair, their head hair, like canonically does not change. Oh, look at that new combos with the LDP. It canonically like doesn't change basically. Like they never have to style it. They never have to do anything. It just stays like that forever. If you got like cool like unique hair like Goku, that's one thing. But like to have that be the case and then be born with a widow's peak is fucked up. Because we saw that shit, right? Vegeta had his widow's peaks when he was like 10 years old, right? Like he was literally born like that. It's kind of fucked up of Toriyama, honestly. Constantly doing my goat dirty. Okay. I mean, Deathless Nier. I mean, the good news is, Deathless Nier can actually kill here. Auto combo into 5U. Works. But the 6XM swiped out of the air. Sure. Understandable. Have a nice day. Yeah. Uh-oh. It's not in the corner, though, so you're fine. Yeah. Could be a lot worse. Getting hit by that command grab in the corner is like 10k with the right, like with SSBA and shit like that on deck. Which Nier does not have the health sustain. Okay, sure. I can't believe... I learned recently that Charlotta's, her HDP at the very least, I didn't test it with the other ones, but if you hit Charlotta with a meaty while you're crouched from a good distance away, her DP will just whiff on you on wake up, right? Like it's her DP is even like it's actually worse than I thought it was even before they nerfed it, and now they nerfed it. It's pretty wild. You could also frame it like Toriyama was saying, it's okay to have a bad hairline. That's fair. Like Goku, that's the low-class warrior haircut. As to why Bardock and Turles have it too. This feels classist. It is being born with a widow's peak is having the potential of your entire race unexplored while constantly catching stray L's for no reason. My goat. To be honest, I'd be tossing and turning in bed if my hair was permanently shaped like an upside-down pine cone. Please no bully. Please no bully, my goats. Alright, that is, I believe, Death's Paradise. Sent to hell. Sent to death. Right there. Mungus. Potato Clutch takes it home. Good shit. That's the actual explanation why they look like Goku, though. That they're all low-class Saiyans. This fucking seems classist as fuck. Broken-ass DP? Literally broken, though, right? So I want to talk about this for just a second before we can... Because this is, like, genuinely... yeah, I want to talk about this for a sec. I had no idea this worked this way, and it's like, heartbreaking, right? If anything, it honestly makes me feel that Charlotta's even a little bit worse than I thought, rather than the other way around. But just give me 1 sec to show you this. Surprised you're still reading my comments after the comeback incident? What, huh? What's the comeback? Oh, I remember now. That was you, wasn't it? Yeah. But yeah, look at this, right? If I set her to do this on Wake Up, yeah, H Holy Ladder, right? And I meaty her with a low from far away enough. Hold on, let's actually meaty her. Let's not cheat. Right? Like her DP just whiffs. Like that. Oh, okay, there you go. There's a timing aspect to it, right? You can't go too late, but like, again, you can certainly like, you can meter her with this shit, and like her DP just like it doesn't. Like the hitbox on crouchers is like so ass. You can also just you can crouch like that doesn't even hit you, right? And, like so you kind of see the idea, right? So like it's so sad. You can actually like safely meter her with a low from space, and if she DPs, it doesn't do anything. Brick, you messed up. Mungus won the sets. I didn't even do it on Chalon. Did I do that? I don't think maybe I did that. I don't mean to gaslight you, but I think someone else reported it incorrectly. It could have been me though. If it did, you guys saw it happen on screen, so you can call me out. But I don't remember doing that. But it's also very possible that my dumbass just forgot. Does UDP change that hitbox gap? I don't know actually. I don't know. I've only tested it on the H1. I hope so. I sure hope so. We can test it out after Shield and Sheep and the beach volleyballers here. That was me, my bad. No worries, no worries. All right. I think we have everyone in here, right? Because it's Dank Memer and Beldros, I believe. Are yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Don't even have to ping people today, man. They just show up. Damn Honka. Honk shoot. Shield and Sheep. And beach volleyball. Oh, I'm not spectating! Alright. We're gonna get some hyperspeed Grand Blue, don't you worry. Shield and Sheep. And beach volleyballers. We going insane with this one. We falling off the deep end with this one. Curled horns on a fellow draft. Now I've seen everything. Wait, is that not normal? Hogan, break them, please? My god. It's a little rude. It's a little aggressive, don't you think? No, wait, this is not winners finals. This is winners semis, my bad. I did a silly. You beach volleyball indoor for the win. Is there like, you know, is there a big schism in the volleyball community between people who play it on sand, people who play it on tile? There just might be gaming here. Boss mates wish he could be this fast. Ow. Wish they put out like an April Fool's patch for one day where they just made everything like really fucked up. It'd be more effort than it'd be worth, certainly. Instead, they just gave us menu music that is not going away. I thought it would go away the day after April Fool's, but 2 seconds of average rushdown gameplay speed. I am but a little guy. You expect too much from me. Known mass murderer Hogan LaCroix. Sure. Ow. That was for far H, right? Did she not minus off those cheek bounces? Ow. There's a certain rule about setting in beach volleyball that makes indoor players think beach looks like a joke. Interesting. I guess there is no high Q equivalent for beach volleyball. Can Vasaraga not do anything about that? I just realized. Because I was like, that's a far H, right? Like, what? Can he not do anything about that because he's Vasaraga? Is that real? I feel like that she should be minus there, right? Or is that far M? Is that a far M? It turns every comment section of beach volleyball into why didn't the ref call that? Interesting. Oh, that is a great Brawl portrait. Was that far M or far right? What the fuck was that? Okay, I don't know which version of the RAM it was, and I don't know which normal it was. I don't think he can. Is Harakana received? Watch that. I feel like that might be like a Vasaraga, maybe like Uno exclusive. Like they just can't fucking do anything. Like just in an infinite there. I think they can block the far M or far H, and then she'll be minus, but you can just like loop back into the sheet. No.
Believe in victory. Battle 1. Engage.
I wish I got all fucked up illustrations. You can only buy them for the 1 day or something, right? In the rupee shop. Okay, sure. The Sheep Neela Infinites. Okay. Sheep have infinites? Infinite sheep? They're in there for 28 days still, maybe? Oh, okay, okay. Someone I thought on the day came in and told me like, oh, you gotta buy them right now or they're gonna explode. But maybe they were, maybe I misunderstood them, or maybe they were also just lying to me or incorrect. I haven't logged in today. They're really gone. I don't know. Me when I lie, perhaps. Me when I spread misinformation on the internet. I was told that they were only there for a very limited time, but it's possible that was wrong. Ow. Get rammed! A little counter hit, 668. It would make more sense for them to give you more than like a day to buy them, you know, just in case you happen to, I don't know, not be available that day. So I would hope that, you know, 90 saying they're there for 28 days is correct. The challenges related to it went on for 29 days, and my assumption could be gone. That's like how gacha game scheduling usually works. It's fair. Anil looking kind of top 1 right now, right? Poor, honest, bottom tier Belial. What the fuck is he supposed to do, man? Look at him! Her 2U's so big! Oh my god, and she can bait his DP. People told me this character was bottom 1. Oh, never mind. She's ass. I take it all back. I'm on the verge of dropping Percy for Belial. I used to think I was about being evil. And they're both, I mean, Percy's not evil. Belial's more evil than Percy, right? Just here to give moral support. Low tier hero, the Belial player? Yep, yep. I saw Matera main popping off in a tournament despite people placing her in low tier. Why is she being placed there? Is she downgraded? Most people, I think, at this point would not place Matera in low tier. She got pretty significantly buffed in the Season 2 patch. Now, she's still not great, I don't think. But she is probably more of like a solid like mid-tier character, I think now. Also, inherently, even if a character is low tier, they can like characters can still people can still certainly cook on them in bracket, right? At the end of the day, the tier placement is a lot less important than the player piloting the character. So even if it was true that Matera was like even bottom 1 or something like that, it does not mean that, you know, we for example, you know, Vayne is maybe considered to be in the discussion at least for worst character in the game, and yet people cook with him all the goddamn time, right? Honestly, I bought 2 beats because it was my fave, as much as playing against her stresses me. I didn't see what her fucked up one was. Matera's upper mid-tier or bottom end of high tier? Interesting, maybe. That's that's like half a tier higher than I would think of her right now, probably, but perhaps. I know, like, you know, she got some very nice buffs herself, and she really likes pretty much both of the system mechanics, but the universal mechanic changes, rather, but Norm is the GOAT. Was that an infinite? Was that an infinite on hold on, Give me 1 sec. I'm kind of curious about that. I came here from Tekken, so seeing so-called low tiers popping off in tournaments is rare. That's fair. This game's very balanced. Like even like whoever the worst character in the game, whoever you think that is, the characters are still like usually they have very powerful stuff and are fully capable of winning. Right? It says that it becomes harder to like win consistently, like win 18 sets in a row before you lose 2 or something like that. Where the fuck is Vasaraga? There it is. Half a tier higher? Is that a weird thing to say? There's a shadow cabal of top-tier Matera players in rank that all have the sauce and with the steel gems. All characters are the worst? That's true. The only good character, and by good I mean like well-designed, is the one that I play. Hold on. Oh, so that what? Yeah, that was her far H, so it's 10 frames. And she was doing what? This? Was it this one? I feel like it was this one, right? Yeah, so she's +2 here. So you need an 8-frame Voss. Well, yeah, because Voss is he has a far L, but it'll get crushed, right? Wow, Voss can't do anything about this, huh? Like if I unblock, let's set him to do a bunch of different shit. His 2M I think is just too slow, right? But if I say him to do like far L, I do this. Okay, cool. Yeah, it doesn't reach. And if I did this, it would crush it. Yeah. Wow. Is this you tackle? I suppose, right? Yeah. He would need to do something like that. But none of his he has no meterless way to stop the infinite here, right? That's 11 frames. That's 8. This is way too slow. His 2M doesn't even reach, but it's 9. Yeah, so it still would get crushed. Yeah, I guess he has to. Half a tier seems so small. I mean, it'd be the equivalent you command grab. Yeah. I mean, again, if he has to spend 50 to stop that, it's pretty nasty situation for him, right? I would say. Oh no, hold on. Did that work, or did I just mistime it? Okay, no, I just mistimed it. Yeah. Back on YouTube, hello Snoop. That's a really weird, that's a very specific situation. I feel like Anila does not do that to anyone else. Maybe Uno, actually. I could actually see Uno being, also. Jump, also? Sure, yeah. Geez, plus you're not supposed to win off of 214M? She's +2 though, and they were doing far H there, right? So again, I feel like most characters could deal with that with her doing that. No, maybe not though. I guess because the far H would also crush. It would crush some medium. Some characters, I guess, could match a medium there and win. Like if they have a 7-frame medium, it'd be fine. Most characters would get crushed. Yeah, I guess if you have an 8-frame medium that you're hitting there, which is probably relatively common, you would also get your shit rocked. That's fair. That tracks. If you spot dodge the far H, he's -7 at least. Didn't think about that, actually. It's an interesting idea. Committal, certainly, but yeah. Is 214M supposed to just be, slow, then? Are you meant to just, hit her out of it when it's starting up? I didn't actually peep the startup when I was doing the move. Uno just parries your sheep on reaction, perhaps. You can jump it? I see. So you're supposed to jump the 214M on reaction and then you kill her? What is the startup on it, actually? Nila skills. Is it flock to the future? Yeah. 30 frames. Oh, okay. Gotcha. That makes sense. Yeah. It's a third. I did not clock when I was doing it. That was a 30 frame startup. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. You can hit her on startup or jump it. Yeah. You could probably. I mean, what's the recovery on it? I guess is not super. I mean, because the simplest thing, the thing that would get hot the least potentially could be the spot dodge, depending on how much recovery is on that thing. I mean, oh, that's 24 active frames. Don't spot dodge it. Got it. So true. Okay, so don't spot dodge it. Hit her or jump it. Gotcha. Or go change your oil, then charge a close H. Yeah. That makes sense. So it was a matter. It's not a Vasaraga thing. It's like a yeah. All right, guys, I'm on the grill. Who wants a burger? All right, Bozo Bunch and Chaos of the Black Dragons, Gret and Casino God, yeah, and then this is Mira and Inter, yeah. Okay. Wish I knew this 2 days ago when I was stuck in the corner against Anila as Fairy. Skill issue, honestly? Yeah. That makes sense. It's basically just her stealing a turn back with a medium special, right? Lots of characters do stuff like that. Like Sora's can do stuff like that. I mean, Ladiva can do stuff like that, though actually, no, M Headbutt is kind of worthless. But yeah, like Sora's can 2-2M, right? There's a lot of stuff like that exists where it's like the medium version is like a slower version that is plus. You're gonna have to kill some people? Ah, so true. Warhog, I'm gonna need you to leave, good sir. Please let us in. And I'm also, that should be hopefully enough, yeah. Some people already volunteered as tribute. Rick has a brick wallpaper, what a legend. OMG, me. I would like a burger. I'm pretty down for a burger. Percival hair gel. Siegfried shampoo and Percival hair gel. And then we're waiting on Mr. Casino God. Otherwise, everyone's here. Honestly, you guys are being called City of the Black Dragon. COTBD, okay? Your name's just simply too long. Maybe I'll call you Black Dragons. How about that? That works. I'm sorry. It's just your name is simply fucking too big. And this is Bozo Bunch on the other side. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Chaos. Ka-chow. Indeed. Alright, let's go, fellas. Get to punching each other excessively hard for my entertainment, please. But yeah, anyway, the conclusion to that tangent is I was just silly, and it's not a Vatsaraga specific like fucking or anything like that. But it's more just that Anila's 214M is like you're supposed to it's like 30 frame out the startup and then it's plus. I'm gonna sleep, have a great stream. See you, Fender. Anyone making popcorn and watching Tekken players freak out? I honestly, I still am. I don't know anything about Tekken, right? So I like, you know, I had the general like normal amount of skepticism, you know, when new patch comes out and everyone says it sucks. Where I was just like, well, okay, well, like how, you know, like how bad is it actually? Is it just, you know, people don't like that their character got nerfed or something like that? But no, it seems like it's actually pretty fucking wild, right? It seems like there's actually quite a lot of, I mean, I know there's some stuff, like there's literally, like stuff that is literally a bug, right? Like Paul has unblockables and stuff like that, that is like clearly not like good or like it's not intentional, right? It was a buff patch, no big nerfs from what I heard. I think it's a thing like even, you know, like they nerfed some stuff on characters like Jin and shit like that, but they just gave them a bunch of buffs anyway, so. Tekken players be complain champing as always? Well, that's what I'm saying, right? I'm like, yes, but then I wonder, like, it seems like, you know, just because people always complain doesn't mean they can't ever be right. Right, and it seems like the complaining is much more widespread, even from, you know, figures that are often a little bit more positive in the community. So it makes me think that maybe something actually did go horribly wrong. Right. I can't speak on it with like any sort of intelligence whatsoever, but like the signs, the feelings that I'm getting is that it's like it's not people just complaining because they don't like change. Like actually. Something, you know, like they said they were gonna buff defense, and instead they turned like the offense factor on the game like way up for basically everyone. They did make a few system mechanic changes that are good for defense, I think, and that, you know, Oki's been significantly nerfed and like sidesteps got buffed and stuff like that. But apparently they also just gave everyone like a bunch of homing moves, so like, you know, you buff sidesteps and then everyone has homing moves that make it so I can't sidestep. So what are we even doing here? I'm not sure. I'm just kind of parroting what I've heard from people, right? It's like if instead of nerfing 6XL and pushback, they made 6XL heavy counter hits and push back. Oh, and push block on unblockable. Maybe, yeah, maybe. Second patch is really bad. They reduced the amount of mind games and gave everyone more 50-50s and stance swaps, which is more knowledge checks. Right. Which, I mean, to an extent, Tekken has, at least at a like lower, like casual intermediate level, Tekken always has felt like it's a very big knowledge check kind of game, right? But I suppose it was already pretty, it's kind of a lot, right? Like I think Tekken was already maybe a little more knowledge checky than some people even enjoyed, right? So for them to like double down on that and make it even more so, I can definitely see why, like as a fundamental design theory, that might be a bit of a problem, right? Double Brick looking so good lately, you gotta tone that down before I have to walk over there. Thank you, man, I appreciate the compliments, but they had ridiculous buffs on characters like Asuka or Dragunov. I thought Asuka was considered to not be very good. Dragunov, though, I thought was the, you know, best character in the game for a while or something. Tekken with the 70-way command grab, yeah, I think it is a boy who cried wolf situation, but like this time I think the wolf is actually here, is the thing. Imagine if we started out with the current damage we have now and they made the game damage to season 1 damage for every character. Right. I mean, yeah, I mean, inherently I don't think like game damage going up would be like inherently a problem, but I guess if it's like, if game damage is going up and also all the ways to access that damage are like very low risk, high rewards, right? And just every situation is always just permanently in favor of the attacker, which it seems kind of like what people are talking about, right? Is that everyone has really easy, hard to fuck with ways of going into stance 50-50s that you can't really do anything about. And like even when you block them, some of them are still fucking plus on block, and if you get hit, you take 130 damage and explode, right? So it's more than just the damage going up, right? But I can definitely see the reason, right? Imagine if we got old use skills back with the old safety, yeah. I can start. It's a good comparison, certainly. Current Asuka's very good with new buffs. She's almost a different character with new moves. Yeah, it would certainly be a strange direction for the game to go if, yeah, for example, I mean, without the context of the fact this would be a revert, but yeah, if they just like buffed a bunch of use skills and made them all safer or plus on block or, you know, have more reward on hits. They all said they were buffing defense. This I've heard about, yes, which is very funny. I don't know, again, which, like, technically they did some things, but overall it does not seem to be the case. Right? Yeah, that's what Siegfried has to get off far L now. He used to get H, Rekka, so you go H Orkin into the Uva. But he doesn't quite get that unless he gets an auto combo now. We love unfuckwittable 50-50s in these streets? Right, yeah. I'm not like, it definitely, again, my current, like, for outsider viewpoint is that it seems like the complaining is actually, like, pretty justified, right? Like, as a guy who, I do tend to be, like, I mostly only, look, I feel like I'm pretty positive about things usually, but, like, looking at that, like, if I was playing that game, I don't think I would be super happy with it, right? Even though, I mean, my ass would be playing King, and King apparently got, he's eaten pretty well, but... Damage is weird for sure. Why do they have the damage if they're gonna give everyone buffs anyways? I don't know. You know, H Orc and nerf made Sieg feel clunky. Yeah, I mean, I guess they just wanted to hit his mid screen, and I suppose that's the way they figured to do it without making him just do less damage in the corner. There might have been a better way to do it though. What's your favorite theme in Grand Blue minus Colossus or the Ultimate? I like the Otoko no Uta, the Song of Men with the lyrics is kind of it makes me very happy. It fucked his corner routing. He can't do proper corner routing off far L now. Yeah, I guess because also he if he gets like a far L he can't. Yeah, I suppose so. Hey, because I was saying more so in the sense of like you could nerf his mid screen damage by just like keeping his ability to combo into the H Orkin and just like making Uva do less or something like that, but. They just wanted to make it, they just wanted to make his combo conversions worse in general. He needs better starters to get conversions, which is, you know, it's an interesting idea. It's a bad design decision. They just made him feel bad. It's a bad design decision. I'm not so sure that I'm not so sure I agree or disagree with you. I have to think about it a little bit more. But it is certainly a pretty meaningful nerf in terms of the significance, right? Because they did very intentionally make it so he can't combo off the far L or the second hit of the 2U anymore into H Orkin, right? He has to do something else. So I do wonder if part of it is just that like removing tools from characters is never fun, right? Did a patch roll out with the new season? Yeah. It wasn't like huge. It wasn't for Suja patch size, but yeah. Problem with second patch is that one, everyone's capable of doing damage around 90 plus, which is half HP. So imagine getting poked in a combo, you're almost dead, and you can't defend properly anymore because of the amount of 50-50s. Yep. And two, they buffed heat smashes and moves, which adds more plus frames and free pressure. Yeah. So I think they lowered risk and increased reward, right? Which is never like across the board. If you're gonna if you're gonna do one, you usually gotta do the other, right? I mean, sometimes you can decrease risk. Sorry, you can decrease reward and increase risk, and that sort of just makes the whole thing a little bit more tame. Right? Which can make things a little bit more boring, but in some cases it's necessary, right? But increasing reward and decreasing risk at the same time is like a double effect, right? It's a double effect. It'll have usually like more long-reaching consequences than the sum of its parts, quote unquote. Yeah. All right. Watch Legend of Galactic Heroes is Johnny Astro and Alcina. And then team name is Kupo and Rio Cookie. Okay. Alcina, Kupo, Rio Cookie. That's for Brawl. Yeah, the patch was, I think, more impactful than people gave it credit for when they were first reading the patch notes, but definitely not the same size as like a Versuja patch in August or something like that. Like it was definitely less impactful than that, but I do think it had that like a quite a significant, like it feels very different, and honestly in many ways I think better to play the game now than it did before Season 2, mostly for the universal changes, right? There was not a ton of character changes. Some of the character changes were still very meaningful, but there was not a ton, and definitely a lot of characters got away with murder, a lot of characters didn't get what maybe they wanted, but the universal changes are a big deal. They buff nerf characters are mainly universal. The only characters that got like notably nerfed in ways that enough that it matters to talk about them, I think, are Belial and Siegfried, which is crazy. Again, crazy that Belial's in that list in a small list of characters that got nerfed. Both of those characters got nerfed. They're both you know, they both dropped, again, probably some people are saying Blau got shot in the head or something like that. I think he dropped like half a tier. I think he went from maybe top 1 to top tier, but definitely not top 1. And then Siegfried, yeah, probably dropped about like half a tier to a tier as well. So like, decent nerf, certainly, to a lot of different stuff. Lucilius probably is the character that got nerfed the hardest, I would say. And then there's, you know, some slaps on the wrist here and there. And then a couple characters got buffed pretty heavily, right? Fairy and Matera are probably the 2 biggest winners of the patch, if I had to guess. Vikala also got some good buffs, not quite as meaningful, I don't think, as the ones to Fairy and Matera, but sounds like a cool patch. I like it. Again, I like some people, you know, some people wanted more, and I get that. And you know, maybe hopefully we can get more now that Arc World Tour is over. Watch Legend of the Galactic Heroes. And the other team is Team Name. Yeah, no, for sure. Team Name. I think the Lucy nerfs were a bit too heavy-handed, but I get them. Assume I use a safe move and gain another access to my stance, which has mix-ups capable of doing plus and safe moves. Yeah. The call got super buff too, but she's still like bottom 3 IMO, unfortunately. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. I thought Sieg is also Sandy based on profile pics. I have no choice but to refund my Evo ticket and die. That's correct. I lost 1 set, therefore I am the worst player in the world, and I deserve to be executed on the spot immediately. The fact that I still continue to draw breath is an affront to the very fighting game genre itself. Yeah, 6XL Far L like that. I mean, Sieg has a really nice 6XL and a really nice Far L, right? He would, and he used to get like some pretty nice conversions off that 6XL Far L in the mid screen. He doesn't really get too much. He gets light Orkin into the upward slash there, so he still gets something, but not nearly as nice as the H Orkin into the Uva, right? Sandy, yeah. Ow. Dead Sandy. Whoa, no, actually. Could have been. I believe a little bit of Raging Strike, Raging Chain, Dumpening right there definitely would have killed him. Yeah, I finally got the chance to yap about that in patch notes. I've been seeing a lot of discourse about it, and people don't seem to be very happy at all. And again, genuinely, it seems more justified than you would expect with like the normal amount of complaining. Ow. Sure. Oh my god, okay. I think they thought it was a counter hit close H right there. I think you can get the charged 214M. I'm not fussed with the Lucy nerfs. I think they were significant, right? But I don't think they were a bad decision necessarily, right? I think he feels a lot more interactive now, which is good. Isn't that how fighting game tourneys go? You lose and get taken to a back alley and given the near treatment? That's right. Lots of people said it was the DBFZ Tekken patch, which is a funny way to describe it. Yeah. Agreed, like, I'm not going to drop him. I mean, he is, again, he probably, like, you know, the fact that Zippy, for example, was not playing him in Arc World Tour Finals does not surprise me at all. He has probably lost enough power that, you know, if you want to play the best character to have the best chance of winning, then it's probably not Lucy anymore. But he's still, you know, very solid and capable. What's going on, Stack? You have my attention. Does she smile like that normally? I thought I should have played it versus Versuja. Actually, a pretty good matchup. Really? I feel like Pillar would cause some problems for him trying to sit back and 5U, right? Who's top 2 to 3 right now? Grimnir and someone else, maybe? Grimnir, Beatrix, I think, are, to me at least, like pretty clearly, I think, in the top 2. And then there's a couple of characters you could cycle in there as 3 with them, right? If I had to pick right now, I'd probably say Catalina. I think Catalina is still basically just as good as she was, and a lot of characters around her got a little worse, right? Except with the exception of Grimnir and Beatrix, I would probably say are, you know, if I had to pick a top 2, it would be them. Catalina would not be there. You could put Versuja in there as well, right? Versuja is definitely in that conversation too. On my Zeta hater arc as always. I think, you know, Versuja and Zeta to me are more like they're somewhere like 4 or 5, something like that, right? But I mean that definitely is not. It's splitting hairs at that point. If you think Versuja is the second best character in the game, or even the best character in the game, I don't think that's ridiculous to say. Right? If you think that Catalina is like, you know, the 9th best character in the game, it's not ridiculous to say. But yeah, those I think are probably the you know, if you want a top 5 to hang on your wall, that probably is the top 5 by my estimation. When I match up more experienced players, I lose games very one-sided ways, and I can't quite study the matchup or characters. It's the most normal thing to lose for me, but I can't get out of pressure and die, get my turn somehow, mess up my pressure, it simply ends and they bully me. So isn't there anything else other than getting better at neutral? I mean, what you've identified is correct. If you fight players who are too much better than you, you're not going to learn anything, right? You're just going to get your shit rocked unless they're going easy on you. So there is certainly, there is merit in fighting people who are a little bit better than you, a little bit worse than you, right? Like, fighting people of your exact skill level is a valuable experience, the most valuable experience, probably, right? How's Seahawks? I'm thinking of playing him when I get back. Very good, very strong still. Probably received, like, up there for the biggest nerf in the game's history when he lost 2,000 health in 1.5, but he was very good before that, and a lot of characters also got taken down in that patch, power level-wise, so he ends up being still fine, right? If you wanted to throw Seahawks somewhere in top tier, I probably would personally slightly disagree, but he's right there, right? So, totally solid, strong character right now, I think. But yeah, if you play a character, someone who's like too much better than you, if you play a player who's too much better than you, you're not going to really learn anything, right? In the exact same way that if you play a player who's too much worse than you, you're also not going to learn anything. So, I don't think it's a good thing to examine how can I do better in matches against players who are like 3 times as good as me. You're just gonna lose, right? It becomes a lot harder to figure out. It becomes a lot harder to figure out what you're doing wrong when someone is beating you in literally every single step of the game: the neutral, the offense, the defense, the reads, the conditioning, the mind games, the unpredictability, everything, right? Genuine thoughts: Bubs could be top tier? I don't think so. I think Bubs is a strong character. He doesn't. I don't know. I think he's more. You know. He's like a tier or a tier below that, probably, in my opinion. Usually when I look at if I look at tier lists, are always very subjective, obviously, right? There is no objective truth on who is stronger than who and stuff like that, because that is a very difficult thing to quantify, right? So it is often the case that when I look at someone else's tier lists or something like that, if like everything that they are saying is like plus or minus 1 tier of what I would think, I go, yeah, that sounds about right. You know, like if I have a character in mid tier and they have them in high tier, I go, that's fine. You know, if I have them in high tier and they have them in mid tier, if I have them in high tier and they have them in top tier, or if I have them in top tier and they have them in high tier, you get the point, right? As long as it's plus or minus, like if I have them mid tier, they have them in low tier. As long as it's plus or minus 1 tier, I'm like, that's, yeah, I'm usually like, that's about right. Because it's very hard to actually, like come to a consensus on anything like that. There is, you know, pretty much everyone you see making a tier list is going to have, at the very least, they're going to have Grimnir, Beatrix, Versuja, and probably Catalina, right? I would imagine. Like somewhere pretty high up there, right? Zeta is still a very controversial figure, but... what am I looking at? Oh, yes, I was looking at yeah, Kupo and Rio Cookie. That is team name, correct? I think. Yes. Team name, W. If you don't get to play the video game and just get ragdolled, you aren't learning much. Exactly. Thanks for the chat and infos. I'll sleep, so have a good, great stream. Yeah, see you, man. Have a good sleep. I wish you sweet dreams. Day good nights. All right. Let us do Death's Paradise and Bozo Bunch. Who's in Bozo Bunch again? Gret. Oh, Gret and Casino. Yeah. This is Abyss and Midnight. This is Casino and Gret. What's going on, Suki? How you doing, big dog? If you want to play old fighting games, you almost never have fun learning them versus actual players. In the case that you're talking about, yeah, where like you'll be a beginner and the only people left standing are these like crazy ass veterans that just beat your ass. That can certainly be a problem, right? That's why, you know, it is nice for some of those old fighting games. You can find some sort of like Discord community for them or something like that to be able to play with people who are also just trying to pick up the game. Because there usually will be there's usually some amount of people who are new to something, no matter how old or like you know, coin mold that shit might be. Also, let me open my window real quick. I enter a tournament, I win a round, they find out I'm guided by his light, I get kicked out. Work at a bar, a customer orders a drink, I put it on my head and say, it's on the mouse, I get murdered. Very well might be my favorite emote on Twitch. It's a good one. Oh, we're going here? Okay, okay. Wait, no, this is not right. That's them practicing. They're not the ones playing right now at all. I got a very well-deserved top 3 Versuja placement on the leaderboard. Wait, why? You say that like it's not well-deserved. What happens? Did you cheat your way there? Did you mod in your gems, Suki? Be honest. Rat down. Rat down. My actual human daughter. Rat down. I'm a big Fairy Well enjoyer. It works so well in like the tiny little emote form. Yeah? Honestly, based. Fuck 'em, man. Why didn't you mod yourself to top 1? It'd be too suspicious. It's just so versatile, yeah. We're missing Sir Gret. We shall await his arrival. Stand ready for my arrival, worm. You can use it in so many situations. You can use it sarcastically. You can use it, you know, to genuinely express interest about something. Rat down, rat down. Rat is unbreakable. Rat down, rat down. It's the only way I could get that placement. I don't quite buy that. Top 3 Versuja is kind of wild, though, because they are Versujas are grinders, man. Because your top 1 is going to be like Gamera with 20,000 gems or something like that. So that already, you know, it sets the bar pretty high. I feel like the Versuja GM threshold is always like 7 or 8k or something like that before the end of the season even comes, where everyone goes nuts for it. Where's this Gret fella? Gamera isn't even GM right now? Well, the season just started. No? Started like yesterday. There he is. Was he GM Versuja last season? He's just pretty popular, probably the most seen DLC character. Shit, now that you mention that, you're right, aren't you? Yeah. Still crazy, I'm not even 1/5 of the way to suggesting the next character. This has got to be expensive. Show some grit. Maybe we'll maybe as we start getting through the road to masters quicker, we will lower that points cost a little bit. Gem Reset has treated me well. Yesterday I managed to get myself into top 8 fairy, but I was already out by today. Yeah, I mean, well, at the start of the season, you know, the GM rankings are always going to be, you know, it's always going to be a little bit volatile at the start of the season as to who's GM and who isn't, but it tends to settle down as time goes on. Death's Paradise. I forgot to do this. Versus Bozo Bunch. Battle 1. Engage. Is Versuja a guest? She feels like a guest character? No, she's more of like it's the equivalent of like she's not a Grand Blue IP character originally. They made her for Versus. That's why her name is Versuja. It's very funny. It's either Versusi or 2B as most seen DLC character. I feel like it's Versuja these days though. 2B's up there though, certainly, yeah. 2B, I mean, was still probably the biggest DLC release at the time, I think, and has held on to her popularity pretty well. Versuja is like Melty Blood Scion, like League of Legends Scion as well, in that she is unstoppable and will, you know, rip you in half no matter what you try to do. Even if you kill her, you cannot stop her. She will go 0-18 and kill your Nexus regardless. Ow, ow, ow. More than B? Oh shit! I forgot B. Okay, no, I think it is Beatrix, right? I think it has to be Beatrix because I forgot Beatrix was even DLC from how much I fucking see the bitch. No, yeah. I forgot about that one. I forgot she was a DLC character? Yeah, exactly. Fucking, Beatrix is so common, I forgot she wasn't base roster. No, yeah, it's definitely Beatrix, my bad. I forgot about that part. Yeah. Rick's aware of the League lore. The mouse inting Scion strategy. I'm aware of everything. I'm aware of what you're about to say before you even say it. I've given up on GM, I don't want to spend I want my time to be spent doing something I don't enjoy. Purely because I don't have enough time to commit to GM. Yeah, I mean, if you, if you know, don't do anything you don't find fun. That is a pretty good rule to live your life by. Now, sometimes you will be forced to do things you don't find fun for reasons that are important to you. That's fine. But at least, if nothing is forcing you to, don't do anything you don't find fun. Pretty good way to not be miserable, I think. Yeah, 1 frame length on that 6XL right there. Beatrix's slide being safe is absurd. I have news for you, brother. Actually, it used to be plus on block. Right? Like, that's... the 2-2M, at the very least. Her medium riding free, that shit was +2 when she released. Now it's -3 or whatever the fuck. Like, that is the nerfed version of that move. And also, her H1, which is -6, was unpunishable by some characters. Plus on block, no way. Yes, it was. It was +2. And the H version, it was always -6. But it used to not put it used to push her back a little bit further, and some characters were just literally unable to punish it. Characters like, you know, Genji and Armaya or Fairy or Matera or stuff like that. Or actually Matera maybe, yeah, I think Matera couldn't do it with her 2L either. These youngins, yep. And her damage got reduced significantly.
Lucilius versus Catalina.
Beatrix was significantly stronger on release. Now, to be fair, the game was also in a much higher power level state when Beatrix released, right? I'm so happy I started Grand Blue 1 month ago. Yeah, game's in the best state it's ever been in, right? So, I think it's you know, it was always okay. It was always fine enough, but the game has kept getting better with every patch. He's still top 3 after all those nerfs. Truly so bad guy. I mean, again, the game itself was significantly higher power level when Beatrix released, right? So even release Beatrix, as crazy as she was not top 1, right? Because Nier existed. And honestly, you could maybe even argue it was between, maybe it was between her and Siegfried somewhere. Like, at the time, I didn't think this, but in hindsight, I mean, honestly, no, maybe not, because I am kind of forgetting how good, like, you know, Seox had 16,000 health, man. Seox had 16,000 health and a plus on block throw bait. Like, if you spot dodge his throw bait, it was plus on block, right? Yeah, and like Belial, obviously, it was, you know, he was Belial, right? Siegfried was completely he was his release version, basically. You forgot about GW? Yeah, okay, so, yeah, like, Beatrix was probably top 5 on release, despite how fucking crazy she was, right? Sieg was probably better, yeah, like, I like, for a second, I was like, yeah, she's probably 2 behind Nier, and then I'm like, remembering what, like, you know, Siegfried looked like, Siegfried H Fireball, 16,000 health Seox, all of this, right? The game was just in a much higher power level state when Beatrix released, right? Beatrix is still like a truck, yeah. It's why it's even more insane that that Vayne released in the state that he was in, right? Because Vayne came out in an even crazier period of the game. He came out before Beatrix, before a lot of nerfs hit, right? Like, I mean, everyone forgets Lancelot at that time. The character was so frustrating to deal with. Yep, Lance got a lot of nerfs, a lot of things that were just safe or plus or harder to stop or whatever. Also got taken down. He also lost 1,000 health. 16k Seox is insane. He feels like he was always a pixie character. Nope. So yeah, again, like I was thinking about back with like not rose tinted glasses, but like, you know, Beatrix like Hayden glasses, I suppose. And I was just like, yeah, this Beatrix character was probably top 2 on release. And then I was like, well, no, Nier was obviously better. Siegfried is probably better. Seox probably better. Catalina, not Catalina, sorry. Belial was probably better at the time still, even. Yeah, you could argue Lance maybe as well, right? Give Vayne Sin's Orb Super as an ability. Sin as an Orb Super? Think about Venom? Oh. The game, Release Rising is a very different game, man. And the Brave counter was plus on block, and characters have... Yeah, if you want to confuse someone who got into Grand Blue in, like, December of last year, say the words 125% meter combo to them. They'll be like, what do you mean 125% meter? You can only go up to 100. Plus on block riding free was such an obvious mistake. I mean, listen, at the time, right? At the time, you can go back, you can see me saying this. I was like, okay, but you can sort of like, you can kind of like throw it on reaction, and it's not the hardest thing in the world to do, right? Now, that's not to say it wasn't a strong option. That's more to say that there was, like, it was a dumb thing, but there was so much more dumb shit in the game at the time that it didn't register to me quite as crazy. When it was made minus, I was like, fair enough. But I think, I was like, that's a strong move, but that is not like a, oof. Cat was definitely a character that abused 125 meter combos. Yeah. There was never 125 meter combos. As I erase your memory. Yeah, hit him with the neuralizer. That's probably one of the biggest nerf. Like, Sora has not really been nerfed too much throughout the game's lifespan, but like the U skill like starter nerfs and also this 125 combos getting taken away probably was the biggest Sora's nerf we've ever seen. Right? It's because like I'm pretty sure his optimal combo, before 1.5 started off 2-2U. Where he had 125 meter combo off 2-2U into super or into SBA or SSBA, did like fucking 12k or something like that. He used to hit so fucking hard on that throwback. It was like one of the scariest moves in the entire game. Wasn't riding freeze counterplay to throw her out of it? Yes, exactly. And it was like, okay, genuinely, it was difficult to do, but it was not impossible to do. Now again, you could argue that the counterplay was too difficult for a move that was a resourceless, right? Like a resourceless, cooldownless move that was plus on block and put her in her best situation. Again, I'm not disagreeing at all with the fact that they made it minus on block. I think it was a great idea. But at the time, I was like, there was so much other dumb shit that I was like, well, it's like, yeah, I mean, I know she has a reactable plus on block neutral skip that's hard to deal with, and I was like, well, I mean, that just kind of sounds like a worse version of Siegfried's H Fireball. Ow. Sure. But yeah, it's almost like it's weird to think now. It's been like almost a year and a half since Rising launched. Holy fuck. Yeah, it's been almost a year and a half since Rising launched, right? And it's just funny to think about all the stuff that was just like, a thing you had to adapt to that is gone now, right? Nier comboing off her DP and her like unfuzzyable looping 50-50 high-low setups in the mid-screen, U-skill starters being like just absolute fucking nukes that you got shot with, 125 meter combos, Siegfried H Fireball, 16,000 health Seox, plus on block riding free, right? Like, yeah, like there's so much different shit, right? Nier was a war criminal. I mean, again, yeah, Nier. Again, we never saw the. We never saw the full power of Release Nier because she got nerfed out of her like craziest shits too fast. But again, the power level of Release Nier is such that she was probably like relative to the cast of characters around her, not in a vacuum, because there's always Kusoges with some weirder fucking movesets. But like relative to the cast of characters around her, Nier probably is the most broken fighting game character in history that I can think of. Right? We didn't find it out in time. Right? We didn't find it out in time. But hasn't 6XL been nerfed twice? Yep, exactly. 6XL has been. Well, I mean, it got recovery nerfs, and also it got buffed and nerfed, but someone put an absurd amount of money on someone so I can win the points back I lost on Monday. How can I join Discord server? ! Discord, brother. Release Nier was a boss character? Yes, correct. Because again, for example, a lot of the best shit that made her top tier post the Vayne patch, and they took away her Nier's up there, but always put Release Happy Chaos. That shit was absurdly absurd. I don't know, man. I like, yeah, maybe. I can't speak on Strive quite as intelligently, right? But like, yeah, I mean, Nier, we're talking, yeah, it was really up there, man. We never, the Nier that you saw dominating the game, by the way, is not that Nier, because, I'm talking about, what the character could do if we had all of our knowledge, right? If we had all of our knowledge about what the character could do, just like what her kit enabled her to do was insane, right? The fact she could combo off her DP, had the best buttons in the game, had an unblockable Raging Strike setup that was pretty easy to go into, right? That she had, again, these looping, unfuzzyable 50-50 setups that killed you in like 3 loops in a game that didn't have mix, really. Nier was a funny character, yeah. Golus is fucked up, man. But Strive is also a much more fucked up game, keep in mind, right? Again, I'm not gonna tell you you're wrong, right? I'm not gonna tell you you're wrong, because I just don't know enough about Strive. But again, it's very important to think about it relative to the power level of the cast, right? That time I reincarnated as a Nier main before the 1.5 update, dude. People don't even know how many other times Nier got nerfed. The 1.5 was it was the nail on the coffin, right? But Nier got her ability to combo off her DP taken away, right? Her 6XL was nerfed, and a lot of her normals, one of her normals was touched, I believe, as well, right? Like her 6XL was like the best 6XL in the game. It got its hitbox reduced. Current Nier 6XL is a nerfed 6XL version, right? And he could combo off her DP. There's other shit I'm forgetting, right? Who do you think was the most broken fighting game character? I would say Super Street Fighter 4 Yun. I don't know, honestly. Again, my current thoughts is probably that it was honestly that was probably again as to what realized potential or potential that existed but was nerfed right away, right? Because realized potential, I'm not sure. Maybe Happy Chaos. As far as like what they released on the character, right? Probably, like, genuinely, I feel like I can't really. Nier was so crazy, man. Nier was so crazy. I feel like you had to be there, and then even if you were there, you had to realize that we never saw what she actually could do, right? There was never a point where Nier had her pre-patch 6XL and could combo off her DP, right? And had the best U skills in the game, and had the unfuzzyable looping 50-50 loops, and the best normals in the game, right? There was never a point where she had all of those, right? It was piecemeal discovered by the Niers as the devs just kept nerfing her, right? But there was a character that had all of that, and more, right? And the highest damage in the game, and basically the best projectile in the game, and. There was no tier list in Release Grand Blue, theoretically, right?
Oh, you're so focused on improving.
It also has the cute girl buff, yeah.
Love that passion.
Also, yeah, sorry, people are trying to, there's a tournament going on, and I'm not doing anything about it. Such a cool puppet character. She's, yeah. Happy Chaos broke the game. Again, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. But, I'll tell you, for example, that a heavily nerfed version of Nier was 6 out of 8 characters in a major top 8, right? Like, I need, like, like the Tekken 8, like, Leroy on release was so broken, there was, like, a big top 8 that had 7 Leroys in it, right? Everyone knows this, right? There was the Tekken 7, Leroy comes out, he's, like, literally a boss character. He's so broken that one of the major top 8s for the game had, like, immediately after his release, had 7 Leroys in it. There was, CEO, I believe, right? CEO... That was an Evo, if I remember correctly. Yeah, CEOs, which is not as big as Evo, right? But still, there was a very big CEO top 8 for Grand Blue, and it was a heavily nerfed Nier. This was a Nier with her 6XL nerfed, and this was a Nier who could no longer combo off of her reversal, right? Like, I feel like that's a very important, like, it's like, that's only 2 things, but I feel like that's a very important thing right there, right? This is a Nier that could no longer combo off her reversal, right? That Nier was 6 out of 8 characters in a top 8, right? So, again, like, release Nier, we never saw her full potential. We never saw what she could actually do because the devs nerfed her fast enough, honestly. They removed, like, some of the truly absurd stuff before the Nier labbers figured out the shit she could do, right? But, like, that Nier is, again, for realized potential, yeah, maybe Happy Chaos, maybe like Yun or something like that, for what the character could have done if balance patches never existed, right? Like, if Rising was, like, like an older fighting game style where we get like a title update a couple years in, but otherwise the game would have just been what it was for a while, right? Nier would have probably been, I mean, to my estimation, is probably the most broken character that I've ever seen or heard talked about in a fighting game, right? Not in the sense that, she could do the craziest shit, but compared to the cast that she was surrounded by, she could do the craziest shit, I think. Imagine if there was Rising on launch at EVO. But again, you have to remember, right? The Nier I'm talking about never existed. We never saw, like, the Nier players had not discovered all the nasty shit you could do off her U skills, all of the looping 50-50s, all of this. They had never discovered that by the time that Nier had gotten most of her nerfs already, right? This is not a rematch situation. What's going on here? What's happening?
Believe in victory.
This is, I think they got a little confused. They think this is... Oh! This is like that fairy winning there. I believe that just kill Mr. Beldros there. Should be Dank Memer's turn. It's okay though. If they want to play another set, I'm not gonna tell them no. But as far as the result, his ass is already dead. We got to get someone else in there. Oh, like Vasaraga was matching. Yeah. Looks like they are a little confused. What's happening? I think they just realized what they did. Maybe. Can't you just revert Nier modes and lab release Nier, but nothing online or server related works? I think you can go back to older patches, right? He's just AFKing, so Fairy can end it if she wants. Oh, okay. Yeah, so yeah, because Kupo won, so Beldros is dead. So now it's up to Dank Memer to come in and save the day, essentially, right? We're not quite in. We're pretty close to first to 2 territory, right? This will be first to 2 for each of the individual players, so like a first to 7 or something like that, roughly, for the whole thing, and the same thing for this one, right? First to 5? I guess first. Yeah, first to 5. But yes, that makes more sense. Have you not done Gambas today? No, we haven't, and I didn't do that on purpose. That's a good point. I just now realized oh, I'm not spectating! Huh? I just now realized that we have not, no. I honestly, I forgot. I when the first match started, we were talking about something, and it distracted me. Oopsie. Maybe we'll do them starting next set. Speed Blue versus, yeah, a little bit of Sonic Speed. I feel like if they buffed Fairy to be as dangerous, I feel like they've buffed Fairy to be as dangerous as she was in OG versus. I can't speak on OG versus intelligently, right? I don't know. But I mean, I heard that Fairy was considered more so to be like you know, at least in some patches, she was like top tier-ish in that game, right? I don't think she's really anywhere close to that right now.
I can hear the beast deep
It's because I wasn't here to throw my points into the ether. Fear not, I have arrived. All right. We'll do one starting in the next set here. It'll be winners finals. It'll take a little bit longer too. We'll get to, you know, 3 first to 2s. 3 first to 2s. A first to 6. A first to 3. A first to 2. A first to 2s. Ow. Ow. Yeah, it is fun. I think there's, you know, still a little bit of Siegfried muscle memory right there, going 6XL far L. It's just not really quite as valuable. Yeah, that U Fireball nerf looks really funny, right? But Belial can, unless he's very far away from you, he can still chase you down and get pressure, right? So in many ways, even on block now, that shit kind of does have crazy corner carry, right? The big thing that was a nerf for, basically, was, you know, Belial can't just throw his U Fireball from literally full screen, and if you block it, he gets in, right? The thing is, though, like, you know, most players, if Belial was throwing his U Fireball from that far away, they spot dodged it on reaction, right? With U skills having the slowdown and everything like that in the distance, it was a very easy to react to thing. But they, you know, they did get rid of that. But in many ways, the U Fireball change is like a, you know, it's a half buff, half nerf kind of thing. Because from up close like that, it still remains the exact same idea. Like, you can still get some very good pressure on it. But now this also on block gives you like half screen corner carry, basically. Or no, like quarter screen. Let me not be absurd. But local streamer gets mixed. That's me. Grand boot. Overdrive surge. Ow. Good hit confirm. Sure. Long-haired German gang. So true. Sigo Frido. It is wild to me looking at these characters doing combos. Like, it's crazy how much meter Avatar Belial builds when he hits people. You guys have been going through this able to master. Like, Belial started that combo at like 85% and like didn't build, or he launched at least at 85% and he didn't build super in time. Which is like, that's not, it's not Belial having really bad meter build. That's Avatar, you know, if Avatar launches at like 60, he gets SSBA before he drops you. I sorta look like Siegfried IRL, except built like a frail Victorian era peasant. So true. Victorian era peasant phenotype. You wouldn't DP, would you? Oh my god, but it's a two-parter. Isn't that haha funny? Oh. I don't know what he tried to do right there, but it got crushed by DP. DPs will crush just about everything. Except, honestly, fun fact, except for supers. There is actually a clash level above DP. It's SBA. And there's a clash level above that. It's SSBA. I hope you're ready for our pretty long team name tomorrow. I sure, yeah. We DP on our Midas frames. Let's go. You call it mashing. I call it a hard read. Scream if you love Siegfried. LeBron James. Frame trap DP, yeah. I got multiple of my friends tell me I look like gender bent Siegfried. What's that? It's that tweet that's like, tragic news. That hot butch lesbian art you thought you found turned out to be Siegfried from Grand Blue Fantasy again. They have higher clash levels. Yep. DPs will crush like every normal, pretty much. But then supers, SBAs will crush DPs, and SSBAs will crush SBAs. And SSBAs can clash. It's very weird, but if it's too long, I can give you an alt name to use it for on stream, yeah. I choose to take it as a compliment, yeah. Hey, Siegfried is he's a pretty man. He's a handsome man. So, you know, a gender bent Siegfried will be a good-looking woman, certainly. Like, saying you look like Siegfried to a woman might be a little bit less, complimentary, right? I mean, even then, he's a bit of a pretty boy, right? It's not so bad. Your honor, that's spooky, so true. All right, so that, yeah, Rio took that one down. So that's team name. I can't believe the team name has made it this far. Versuja SSBA crushes almost anything. She has invuln for the full animation from what I read. Yeah, but I'm talking about crush in the literal, like, there are attack levels. Okay, hold on. You know what? Let me show you this real quick. There are literal attack levels for moves, and when two hitboxes intersect, a move with a higher clash level will crush a move with a lower clash level, right? So I'm not talking about crushing in the sense that it's like invulnerable and it goes through it. I'm talking about literally the red little crush thing that shows up, right? And in that sense, Versuja SSBA will crush almost anything because it's an SSBA, right? So for example, if I have Grain do his far M like this, right, and I have Versuja do her far H, you notice how it says crush down there, right? The hitbox is intersected, and the higher attack level move will always, it just goes through the lower attack level move, right? The hitbox intersects, and it just says, get the fuck out of here, right? Now, a weird thing is if I, for example, have Grand DP, right? This is gonna be, it's really hard to make these clash like that. But yeah, oh, you see it right there, right? His DP, crush. This is training mode. Crush. You see that? You see? His DP got crushed by the super. This is something that does like almost never comes up, but supers, if they intersect hitboxes with a reversal, will literally, they crush it. They go through the hitbox and hit the guy behind it if the invuln has run out, right? You wouldn't normally like, and at the same time though, like DPs will crush any other move, right? So that far H that just crushed his far M gets crushed by the DP. Like this is what this far H is about. You know, it's almost as heavy as like a normal gets, and yet, right? Her 6/6 H would actually be as heavy as normal gets, and even then, if I can get those to clash, the DP should crush it. But the timing on this is a little bit. Yeah, see again. Didn't know crush is even an indicator. Yeah, if you see this crush indicator, it's kind of covered by dust right there. But that means that two hitboxes intersected, right? They intersected when, by the way, when two and the one of the higher attack level on the intersect, the one of higher attack level crushed the other one. It just erases the hitbox basically. When two moves of the same attack level hit, that's when you get the clash effect, right? I can try and show you right here if I can time it. Wait, his is a little bit faster than mine. Maybe it'd be easier with her. Yeah, there you go. Right. This is what happens when two moves of the exact same attack level hit. They clash like that, right? And if it's a higher attack level, you get, hold on, you get that crush indicator right there, right? You see, it's oh, that's punish. No, hold on. Yeah. The timing on this is a little weird, so you have to forgive me, especially because like it's moves of different speeds. There you go. There's crush. You see him right there. So the weird thing is that this math keeps on going up, right? So like DPs are crushed by supers, right? And weirdly, if I give Gray an SBA right here, I know we have a tournament to get back to, but this is a very interesting little bit of trivia that I do enjoy about the game. If I make Grand SBA right here, right, and I not SBA, well, first I guess yeah, if he SBAs and I SBA, if the invuln frames intersect properly here, see the supers clashed for a second there. Now, his super is a multi-hit, and it ends up beating up, like, his second hit comes out faster, right? But you see this, how the supers clashed for a frame? Because these have the exact same attack level, right? And if he does this, and I do SSBA, right, this, I believe this is how this works. Yeah, you see the exact same thing right there. You see the crush? His SBA got crushed by the SSBA. Attack level keeps going up and up and up. It's, we can get back to the tournament now, because I don't need to show anything visually, and people are waiting, which I apologize for greatly. But the general way it works, let me get winners finals in here. This is Mungus and Shield and Sheep. We have Hogan and Norm in there. I just need Mungus in here, and we can go on. But there's seven attack levels, I think. Honko and Don Mosquito. Honko, Don Mosquito, and then I'll also Hogan and Norm. I'll tag them as well just to say. Password Brawl, first to 2 per player. So this is first to 2 now, right? So, you know, if Hogan is going to fight Dom Mosquito, for example, right? It's the individual sets between players are first to 2s for winners finals, losers finals, and grand finals. Having 2 SSBAs clash sounds hilarious. Yeah, it usually doesn't end up working that it'll be like a clash and they do nothing, because many SSBAs are like multi-hits or they have different hit timings. So even though if you get the first hit to clash, usually the second or third or fourth or fifth or sixth or whatever hit will end up making it so someone still wins out, but it can lead to what would have been a cinematic hit turning into a non-cinematic hit, right? But I believe there are 7 levels? I think there are 7 levels. Maybe 8. 2Ls are universally attackable 0, right? Well, yeah, I think even Versutis counts here. They're attackable 0. They are crushed by everything. Or clash level 0, sorry. Attack level is a different thing. It's nerd shit, but don't worry about it. 2Ls are clash level 0. Most lights are clash level 1. Most mediums are clash level 2. Most heavies are clash level 3. Most 6/6Hs are clash level 4. Most DPs are clash level 5. Most SBA, every SBA is clash level 6. Every SSBA is clash level 7. So there's 8 clash levels, right? Now there are some exceptions to this. For example, Versuja's 5L is a light, but it's clash level 2. It's medium clash level, right? Same thing with like Vasaraga. His far light is medium clash level despite being a light, right? All air normals are usually 1 less than you'd expect, right? So most JLs are actually clash level 0. Most JMs are clash level 1 and will lose to grounded mediums. Most JHs are clash level 2 and will lose to grounded mediums as well, right? Or they'll clash at grounded mediums and lose to grounded heavies. Gamba? Oh, so true, so true, so true. I got too carried away. I got too carried away talking about funny bullshit trivia that no one cares about. Hold on. Did I even update the overlay? I might not have. Who will win? Shield and Sheep, or Mungus? Mungus. You got some time still too, because this is actually going to last a little bit long. I have not changed the overlay. I'm a little silly Billy. Here's your Gambit. Throw all your points into it as you see fit, or do not as you see fit. Shield and Sheep. I care break. I just care about being broke even more. That's fair. And Mungus. This is not losers top 8 anymore. This is winners finals. So yeah, again, so Norm and Dom Mosquito right now are playing this match, and they're not. It's not gonna be first to ones anymore. If Dom Mosquito wins here, he doesn't just kill him. I care about the trivia. I like the finer details of fighters. Well then, there you go. But yeah, aerial moves like, you know, a JH will clash with most close M's, right? For example, or far M's, and they'll get crushed by most far heavies, right? 2H's, I believe, are also just like regular heavy attack level, but it does end up working out that since aerial moves are all lower, every 2H will beat like every JH and stuff like that. But then you get stuff like, you know, there are like aerial U skill moves, right? Like a Beelzebub U dive kick or something that actually will crush 2H's, even though it's an anti-air designed move. The attackable on U skills that's where things get a lot more. The attackable on specials and U skills is where things get a lot less homogenous, right? Some things just have really heavy attack levels depending, but. I believe there are only 2 attackable 4, right? In particular, is essentially reserved for. I've had U moves crushed by 2B far H. Yeah, well, again, some U moves are. It depends a lot, right? Like Beelzebub U dive kick will crush 2H's, but not every U skill necessarily will, right? Special moves and stuff like that is where things get a lot less homogenized as far as how they decide clash levels, as far as I can tell. I've not looked at in depth at every single special move enough to tell you that. But there usually, at least, is an ascending order from, you know, light is usually like to some weird grouping of medium heavy U, right? Medium heavy U can be kind of interchangeable, but the light version of a special is usually the lowest attack level version of that special. Clash level, sorry, again, it's very different. Attack level is a totally different thing, which determines how much the base hit stun for a move is, right? And how much what the effect on counter hit is, right? For example, like high enough attack level moves are the ones that give you the like big red counter flash when you hit someone, right? And also, again, like the amount of hit stun and untechable time and stuff like that on regular hit and on counter hit and all of this is hard coded by the attack level. So the only way to at that point switch around frame advantage and all of this is to tweak recovery frames, right? It's kind of busted though. I'm not sure that 2B far H crushes some U skills. I couldn't tell you for sure. Her far H should be a normal level 3 attackable move, so it'd be a pretty small U skill for it to get crushed by that. Like if 2B could crush it, every other far H should be able to crush it too. I don't believe 2B's far H has a higher clash level than normal. There are only the highest clash level accessible to normals is 4, and it usually only applies to 6/6H's, right? I believe the only exceptions to this are Vasaraga's far H and Charlotta's far H, I think, are the only 2 far H's that are clash level 4, right? They will actually clash with 6/6H's and crush other heavies. They will crush other far H's. Ow, 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 ow. I don't believe Versuja's far H falls into this camp. I believe it is only Charlotta and Vasaraga who have something like this. And it's because their far H's are very, very slow, right? Grimnir first hit a far H, it's 6/6H clash level. Fairy 5U is clash 4 if you count that as normal. That's honest. Sure. Yeah, that 5. There probably are actually. I wasn't. If we count that, there probably are a couple of 5Us maybe that do that. But I did not know that. It's good to know. It's evil as fuck. 8 frames clash 4, isn't it? Oh wow, I did not know that. I did not know the first hit of Grimnir's far H was clash 4. What a button, truly. Here I was thinking it was only those 2. Ow. Okay. Sheep, Raging Strike, Unk check, it works. The system works. This is potentially... Oh, it's not 1-0 for Shield and Sheep yet, sorry. It's 1-0 in the little mini set here between Norm and Mungus. It is set point for Norm, though. It was not between Norm and Dom Mosquito, that is. It is a set point for Norm to put 1 point on the board here. It's a set of sets, basically, right? It's a first. Oh god, it's a first to two of first to twos, essentially, is what's going on right now. PS4 Neil, that's true. If you miss, you also just die for Far H. Grimnir Far H? I mean, it does have a secondary hit that covers him a little bit, right? Yeah, you certainly can. You can whiff punish it. As is the case for many. I mean, not for a good handful of Far H's they whiff. Grim's Far H is a very good weapon. I'm not really gonna. Does it have no counterplay? No, but it's a very strong Far H, certainly. Ow, ow, ow. And that was before I even knew the first fucking part of it was Clash level 4. That shit is... That's diabolical. Okay, 1-1. Mosquito on the board. Not going quietly into that good night. Sure. The infinite. Oh, wait! Ooh, yeah, Neil's got a really nice 2H. It's a pretty good anti-air damage, man. I mean, obviously, you know, it costs a U skill, but it's not bad. The Nintendo Direct went crazy. The first part of Grim Far H is attack level 4. Actually, technically, Clash level. I mean, maybe attack level 2. But technically, we're talking about Clash level. It's a different thing. Nerd emoji. Put yourself glasses. But also, apparently, I mean, Sora just told me that. I did not know that. I have at the very least no. I have no evidence that that's false either. I just didn't know what the attack level on that thing was. I assumed it was 3, like most other Far H's. Only reason I found that is because I was Grand Blue zoning someone and I got my Far H crushed and shit my pants. That's crazy. Yeah, wow. Well, fair enough. My god. I did not know that. Oh, yeah, that's the new transient buffs, right? He's invincible on, like, frame 13 or something like that. So not, like, a reversal by any means, but against projectiles and all of that can be very nice. The Direct, there's some weird stuff. I did not watch it, but one of my buddies talked to me about it afterwards. There's some, like, weird, some strange stuff in that, right? Bloodborne Fortnite, right? They had 3 seconds of Silk Song footage. I don't know. I don't know. All right, so now that's 1 point on the board for Shield and Sheep, right? Norm has won that first to 2. At this point, he can swap out with Hogan or he can stay there. But now it's a separate first to 2 now. And if Honka loses this, then they're dead, right? V-Transit is a stupid fucking move. Very, very strong, certainly. It went from being, like, borderline worthless to a very nice option for her. Big buff. Like, that's something that when I made my little, like quick little tier list update after we got Sandy to Master, I did not think about that for Narm at all. It probably is, like, a pretty nice, like, at least, like, a half a tier bump or something like that. Kirby Air Ride 2 actually caught my interest. My buddy told me he got jump scared by that because there was, like, a Smash Bros-like sound effect at the start. And you saw, like, a Kirby star, and then also it said Sakurai. So he thought it was, like, a new Smash, but turns out it was... The portrait? Yeah, the April Fools, boys. Also, Deltarune release date. I could cry. Oh, really? They got Deltarune release date and Silksong, not release date. Well, they said 2025, apparently. You know, Silksong information. Oh, that's minus, but he 2H'd there, I think. I look like a 2H potential. Air Ride is peak, so excited. I'm happy. I'm happy for you, man. A lot of it was about, like, the Switch 2 as well, right? It's like it's the Switch. It's a Switch, but it's like more powerful. It's a more powerful hardware, obviously, so it can like run more shit. And then it has like a camera and a mic, so that the, like, you know, that kid that you're beating in Mario Kart can call you a slur, the 13-year-old, like on the open mic. Ow. My friend was also thinking it was a new Smash when the Kirby game was announced. Yeah, also you're so dead. This truck 2 up. Yep. Good old Vayne anti-air damage. Oof, it's such a good. That's a good smear frame. I saw Bravely Default remaster and it became a day 1 purchase for me. Fair enough. Isn't it like the Mario Kart game is like the first $80 USD game or something like that? They're up in oh god, the 214M round start, good shit. They're up in like the price tag for video games. Nintendo bravely leading the charge to charge us more for our shit. The age of COD lobbies is over. The age of Mario Kart lobbies has come. Yep. Instead of saying, I'm using tilt controls, you're going to call your mother the N-word. 90 euros is crazy. That's wild. That's just gonna be like 100 Canadian dollars, man. That's gonna be like 100, like over 100 Canadian dollars before tax. What the fuck? That's insane. Triple digits for for Mario Kart. Oh. It's 80 digital, 90 physical. We're so fucked. I'm sure every other corporation is very proud of it, like very happy that Nintendo were the ones brave enough to take the first step in upping the price tag by fucking 25% like that. Don't talk to me about the Canadian dollar right now. I'm in a state of despair. The only, like, literally the only solace I have as a Canadian is that Twitch pays me in USD, man. All I gotta do is make enough money off Twitch to make that my job, and I can pretend I don't have to worry about the Canadian dollar. If anything, the worse the exchange rate gets, you know, the more money I make. You spoke of buffing Vayne's shield. I expect him to make H shield spawn in front of him and advance slowly. Yeah, maybe. I think it going so far away from him is so, like, just miserable since it makes it so much easier to run through it. I think H shield's probably got, like, a big buff, honestly. It feels so, like, you never see any Vayne use it ever because it sucks donkey dick. Oh, can't backdash that. Nintendo can get away with it because they actually still make good games. Otherwise, the practices are pretty scummy. Nintendo, it's a weird thing to say, right? But the company is definitely carried by its developers, especially its first-party developers, very heavily, right? Like, the company does a bunch of, like, dumb shit, but then, you know, the guys who are making, like, the Zelda games and, you know, like, the Smash games and the Mario Kart games and shit like that, they just keep cooking. They can't stop cooking.
Believe in victory. Battle 1.
If I buy one, I think I'll buy the bundle. 470 euros for a game and console or something like that. Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, that's why they probably, you know, they're like, this shit is so expensive. Have you tried getting the bundle? It's marketing. All right. These love taps. Okay. Get slammed. Get rammed. Paying for online kind of hurts my soul after we did a PC years ago. I had a PSN, like a PSN account, or like the PSN network subscription, I guess, for so long after I'd never, like, since it had been like 3 years since I'd used your, so dead, by the way, again, even without SBA this time. I had a, like a PSN network account that I was paying for, like 3 years after I stopped using my PlayStation 4. It was crazy. Mario, Zelda, and Kirby just cook. Pokemon's a different story. You know, you'll notice I left Pokemon out of that. Listen, I'm not a diehard Pokemon fan, so I'm not gonna pretend. I can see why people say this matchup's hard for Charlotta, by the way, as this has kind of been happening. The shield actually does seem to stop her in her tracks pretty damn good, right? And Vayne being the anti-air character and Charlotta being the jumping character, I think is not very. Yeah, I can see why people say this matchup is like when I bring up the matchups that Vayne wins like super hard, and you know he's a very polarizing character. He like loses most matchups, then he just wins some like 7-3. I usually talk about Vasaraga. Some people do mention that he also beats the fuck out of Charlotta, and I kind of see the vision. Looking at, I don't think I've seen Vayne Charlotta that might be the first time I've seen it. It looks really bad. There's a lot of things that seem kind of rough. But yeah, like, I'm no diehard Pokemon fan. I don't know, so I'm not gonna speak on it like super intelligently. But it has seemed to me like you know, those games maybe have not been getting better recently. Is all I'll say. The idea of paying for online still disgusts me. You know, it's a pretty common console practice, right? PlayStation does it, right? The Nintendo does it. I'm pretty sure Xbox does it too. No one has an Xbox at this point, especially. Oops. No one in this generation, it feels like Xbox just completely got. So you don't pay for internet. Well, paying for internet access on top of your normal internet, right? Like you already are paying your ISP for internet, and then paying this company to access their specific like internet service, right? Is more so what it is. Not necessarily like, you know, internet is free, but. Two characters nobody plays. I'm surprised anybody knows anything about these types of matchups. It's usually Charlotta players or Vayne players talking about it, to be fair. So, all right, Death's Paradise and team name. So this is Midnight. I'm remembering now. There's few enough teams I can remember who's on which. This is Midnight and Abyss, and Rio Cookie, and Kupo. There you go. As a friend of a Pokemon fan, he admits the Game Freak has been pretty bad for too long. They were so bad they were actually intimidated by Power World. Yeah, I mean, it's just they are. I mean, if you talk about like complacency and decadence, they are like Pokemon is the highest grossing media franchise in the world, right? By a good margin. I think it's like. I think like Hello Kitty, Mickey Mouse. I think Mickey Mouse is second, and it's like $30 billion behind Pokemon. It's like $99 billion Pokemon, like $60 billion Mickey Mouse, right? So like they are like, they don't really have to make good games. people like the franchise is so popular and it is so widely beloved that like people are just gonna buy the new Pokemon game anyway, even if it's shit. And I don't really know if they can alienate like maybe some part of their more core player base, but like I don't know if they could alienate their player base hard enough that it would matter at all, right? Xbox is the only one who doesn't pay for online, which is funny because they were the ones who started charging for online first before dropping it. Oh. Crazy how much Pokemon makes for their games. Look like budget indie games. Yeah, yeah. Too big to fail? Yeah. I mean, it's funny to say when you're talking about like the banks, but like for a video game franchise, it is like well, too big to fail is different. It's a different. Technically, those words are being used in different ways. But the point being, yeah, the Pokemon is like it's really hard to just make a Pokemon game every year, and even if it's a straight downgrade from last year, it'll still be fine, right? The franchise is just too. It's why we need more games like Power World. Competition is good, but even then, right? Like, okay. One of my friends once described Dungeons and Dragons in terms of tabletop RPGs, right? He would say like that if, you know, there's that classic refrain of something being like a big fish in a small pond, right? And he said, you know, 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons is not a big fish in a small pond. It is a blue whale parked on the pond, and it is so big that most people don't even know the pond exists. You would have had to have been told about the pond directly, because there is no way to see it through the massive blue whale that is parked on the pond, right? Obviously, you know, D&D has lost a relatively a decent bit. More people are trying out more TTRPGs than ever before because of, I mean, if you know at all, WotC has been doing a lot of just really crazy shit. If there was any way they could make D&D not like the entirely dominant force in the market, they did it. And even still, it's still like, you know, 95% of tabletop players, they might not even know that tabletop is a genre. They might just think it's D&D, right? A lot of people don't even know that you know, D&D is a genre, is one of a genre of game. They just think that D&D is the game, right? So, why am I bringing this up? The point is, that Pokemon is kind of like that too, man. Like, Power World did get really big, but like, to an extent, man, it's like, competition for Pokemon games, I'm sure, like, you know, there are other games that are of a similar genre, where, I mean, Digimon existed for a little bit there and then got, you know, basically grounded to dust. But like, Pokemon is so big that like, I don't know how you can compete with it in a way that matters for like a long enough time to actually like influence change, right? Also, what are we doing here? Why is no one stepping up to the plate? I need a Midnight or an Abyss Watcher. Play Lancer instead of D&D? Yeah, I want to play Lancer. It seems really fun. I'm a Pathfinder 2nd edition shill myself. I've been playing some Cyberpunk Red recently as well, which I've been enjoying quite a lot. Go, go, go. Go, go, go. Digimon games are way better than Pokemon games nowadays. I always like the Digimon games more. The old Digimon World games and like the one Digimon like Smash ripoff, Digimon Rumble Arena and shit like that. I want to run a Call of Cthulhu campaign one day. I played in a one-shot once. It was pretty fun. This is Death's Paradise. If Team Name wins this, I don't know what I'm going to do. Team Name. And this is Losers Semifinals. Losers Semifinals. Oh, I just realized. Wait a second. Oh God. I forgot that I even had a. I didn't do game, but I didn't pay out the other game. Man, I would love to get Cyberpunk Red, but I don't know where / how to get it. You can at least get like the Jumpstart kit, which is enough to play with. I think you can probably find it for free online. I think. But I mean, the rulebook. I would imagine that you can maybe you know, who publishes that shit? I forget, but I imagine you can buy that probably, like order it online or something like that. You can probably like find used copies on Amazon or something like that along those lines. I just hear about Warhammer being so horribly expensive and there's changes all the time and to need new figures, you need to pay so people just get burnt out on it. I mean, Warhammer is a little bit more involved than it's more of like a direct war game than like a lot of the TTRPGs. They, you know, their origins are as like war games and stuff like that, but they kind of evolved to like a different, like a slight spin there, right? Warhammer is a bit more involved than most of their tabletop games, but yeah. Have a look. I'm a permanent DM anyway, and my friends like Cyberpunk. You should try to convince someone to run something. People tend to have a lot more, like, people don't like to start, but in my experience, like, everyone who I've seen, like, go, I don't know if I could do that, and then they do it, they usually do better than they think, and also everyone has a good time. It's always nice for the you know, the forever DM to get a chance to actually play. Ow, ow. It is funny because the guy who is currently like DMing the Cyberpunk Red campaign that I'm playing in is Like it's like his first time doing this for the group, and like you know our like for that group like our forever DM. He doesn't get to play in very many campaigns, right? So he finally gets to be a player in the Cyberpunk campaign, and he's you know as expected he's very good at it. He's very fun to play with. But it was funny because like we were he like the new DM, he wanted like the players to spot dodging that shit too early is so scary, man. When you see that he held it a little bit longer than you think, like you feel the sword of Damocles coming down on the head, right? But yeah, so the DM wanted like the players to recap from last session. It's a you know relatively classic strategy to make sure people are paying attention and stuff like that, right? The near chip's insane, yeah. But so we rolled like a d6 because it's a group of 6 people, including the DM, to see who was gonna recap, and it landed on the forever DM. So yeah, he was playing for one of the first times, and then he just immediately gets right back to recapping the previous session like he was already a DM. It was a funny bit of irony, I suppose. Yeah, Nier's 236U does like a full throw's worth of chip damage, something like that on block, right? It's because chip, I believe moves do 10%, 15% of their base damage on block, and U skills it's like 20 to 25%, right? So U skills tend to do a lot more chip because they do a higher percentage of chip damage, and their base damage value is also usually much higher. The habits never die out. Lol. DM based muscle memory. Yep. He was randomly chosen by the gods to do the DM thing again. It's very very funny. Vayne U swing is like a raw 1k on block. Yeah, because again I think it's 25% of the damage they would do, or 20%, something like that for U skills. So that's why U skills especially seem to always do so much chip. Because again, they usually have the highest base damage values of all of your specials, and that bigger number, a larger percentage of that number, is also being taken to calculate the chip. All right.
Believe in victory. Battle 1. Engage.
Is Vayne U swing? Is it 4k damage raw if it hits you, or is it? I don't think it's 5k. Ow. I know it hurts like a motherfucker, that thing. Want some? Sure. Ow. That was, by the way, 1-0 here for team name. That horrifying 214M. As a fan of Pokemon games, my first being Ruby from 2002, I've gotten a game with my childhood friends from every generation. The last generation has actually been the worst experience so far, by far. Wow. That's always what you like to hear. Snatched out the teleport? Lucy's always snatched. I don't know what you're talking about. Lucy's been snatched since the day he was born. S plus baby on a non-cheese character? What do you mean by this? Also, who did you hit it on? Who's a cheese character in this context? Looks like 33% on block. I don't think it's quite that high, right? What does it do 3k on hits? It might be doing closer to like 800 damage then. Because you don't get the exact chip damage numbers on block, you gotta eyeball it, right? Now, I got it on Yule just now. Honest Euler. Derogatory. Really bad bugs at launch, luckily fixed. The world being open made for a messier progressions and compared to past generations. This may sound like a personal gripe, but any Granblue Fantasy Gacha fans here? How's it Gacha? There's a bunch of people on the server I know who are relatively consistent players. People seem to enjoy it. People seem to like the I honestly am somewhat interested in trying the Gacha myself. Like, he was the cheese character in low rank? That's fair. That's fair. Base Bonjamin on the Yipper. Always sounds wrong, you know? It sounds like a slur. It doesn't help that, like, a lot of the times people will say, like, you know, Yipper, but they'll, like, censor the I. Yipper, in parentheses, derogatory. GG. Yippers, yeah. Arg, Yippers. Granblue Fantasy Gacha stream when? Honestly? That's not a bad idea for a sub-only stream, huh? These darn grapplers, yeah. That's not a bad... Because I'm down to try that shit out, man. That's not a bad idea for, like, a Saturday sub-only stream. I got, like, some BlueStacks or something like that, or I find some way to just, like, stream off my phone. and we just play like we just play the first 3 hours of the gacha or something. I still wait for God Hand. I want to play God Hand so bad. I want to play God. I don't. Is God Hand might be 18 plus for Twitch though. I'm not sure. You can play it in browser. Oh, there you go. You can play it from a browser though too. Even easier. That's yeah. Honestly, fuck it. We do it this Saturday. Thoughts? When's the Uma Musume watch party stream? This Saturday we start the Grand Blue Fantasy Gacha. Tell your friends far and wide. All of your gacha enjoyers. What's a God Hand? Goated PS2 game by Clover Studios. Yo, on God? I'm kind of down. Sounds fun. I don't see why not, right? All you have to do is be subscribed to the Twitch channel. You can support the channel by subscribing for $6 a month, I believe, or for free with Twitch Prime. What a crazy thing. It lets you get all these, the great emotes, you know, the pet, the little guys, the little guy himself, the fairy woe, all this great stuff. No ads on the channel. And you also get to watch the sub-only streams on Saturdays. You can also, for a similar thing on YouTube, you can certainly become a channel member if such a thing interests you. But all that self-shilling aside, I do think it's going to be a fun thing to do. I think we could certainly do that. I've been interested in trying the gacha for a little bit now, and maybe that this is the final thing that will finally push me to do it, right? You see, there's all the just a smattering of some of the emotes that you could get. This was shield and yeah, it was okay. Finally, we made Break a Gamble. All right, so what are we doing here? This is, yeah, this was a team name, right? Took that down, sure. Now it's Mungus and team name. Real quick, I'm just gonna say first to 2 per player. I could even check if a game's allowed on Twitch. I mean, everything is allowed, but you know, sometimes you're like, you know, like even like copyrighted music and stuff like that is allowed. Your VOD might just get muted or things like that, or it might not save for as long. This is Mungus versus team name. I don't want to accuse anyone of botting. Why does every Granathan play the exact same way? I think you might be grand racist. There's some games that are genuinely banned. Sure, yeah, but I don't think God Hand counts. Like God Hand is like I imagine a game like, you know, Manhunt or something like that, or that one game that is I think it's called Rage or Hatred or something like that. It's like it's a really fucked up game about I believe you just like basically participate in like you are just a mass murder, like let's, you know, it's basically you're just like just performing a school shooting or something like that. I can't remember. It's something fucked up like that. But like God Hand is more just like, you know, a guy gets kicked in the balls and there's like boobs on the screen and stuff like that. Honestly, in the grand scheme of things, it's probably fine. Now that I think about it, is true Masters Grand and A rank Grand same? I don't know about all that. I'm scared about that Manhunt one. There's a lot. There are games basically just like it's like, hey, you're a serial killer, or like a genuine like a very like it's not like a, you know. Like, I mean, in Dynasty Warriors, technically, you're a mass murderer, right? So, like, that's... But, like, it's obviously a lot more removed from reality, right? The game you're thinking of is called Hatred? Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Pretty sure Yandere Simulator is banned? Yeah. The worst thing God Hand has is spanking a girl. I've seen a stream without getting taken down. Yeah, I mean, honestly, that shit's probably less... there's probably less of a Gooner game than Street Fighter 6. I'm not gonna lie to you. Right? Now that as I just, like, reevaluate for a second, I'm like... You know... Motherfuckers were playing Stellar Blade on Twitch, weren't they? Technically, Nathan Drake's a mass murderer, but obviously get your point. Yeah, again, like, you know, you're in many games, you are technically murdering many people, right? But it's the difference in, like, how realistically they're framed, I think, is what can make it much more visceral for some things. Bring back Wholesome Sly Cooper, where you murdered people, it turned into puffs of smoke, and it was chill. So true, bestie, honestly, so true. What's Gooner about SF6? I mean, you know, when the official game announcement headline for Mai is Mai Shiranui bounces into Street Fighter 6 to be the good girl of your dreams, I feel like that's something. That's just me, maybe. And like, you know, Mai is obviously leading the charge, but you know, the very first thing, like, you know, Juri's intro animation for like when the round starts, it zooms in on her foot first, and then you see the rest of the character. Like, there's, you know, I'm playing. I'm not Coney, man. I'm playing fighting games to come. It's fine. I got no problem with it. But you know, it's a little bit of goon fuel in these fighting games, man. A little bit of goon fuel, and I have no problem with it whatsoever. There's a little bit of goon fuel, right? You also does that too. Granblue's not innocent, man. You see that fucking Galleon trailer? We talked about it for forever last week, right? Like, you know, do you see that fucking Galleon trailer? Do you see do you see like, you know, do you see Anila's like win pose? Listen, Granblu's not innocent. You the tits on Ladiva? That's what I'm saying. You the tits on Vasaraga, man? A little bit of gooning. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of gooning, right? I'm just saying though that like in all honesty, God Hand is really not that wild, I suppose. If you want to try out a great fighter with lots of cute girls, Nitro plus Blasters, ye speak. Nitro plus Blasters, the fun name. Flip moment. Oh, hell rap moment. Granblue with Sora is right there. You can see Sora's balls in his fucking JM when he installs, man. So again, Granblue's not innocent. I'm not trying to say that it's just Street Fighter 6. I'm just saying, you know, God Hand in comparison, mostly is pretty tame. So there is like one like bath scene, I think, or something like that. But Sora's got that loincloth on. The edit is not covering anything.
Believe in victory.
I love Nitro plus Blasters. Only problem is peer-to-peer connection. Interesting. Old ass fighting game. Go for air throw versus flip. I mean, when someone air throws me, usually my thoughts are that they are more locked in than I'd like them to be. Have you seen the Sieg triple buff SSBA damage? That thing makes me erect. Yeah, I mean, it's 50% extra damage for 10 seconds at Dragon Blood level 3, right? And I believe his SSBA, is it a 6,000 or a 6240? Does anyone know? I don't know what I would imagine, since he's a higher damage character, I'd imagine it's a 6240 SSBA, but I'm actually not certain. I'm gonna look that up right now, because I never knew. I know a lot of them offhand, but I actually don't know his. Sigofrido. Let me go Siegfried on the Dust Loop real quick. Siegfried GBUSR. It's normal SSBA damage? Okay, gotcha. So yeah, it does. So with the full, let me double check. Not that I don't believe you, but I always want to see it for myself. Yeah, it's 6,000. You're right. Yeah, so with the full Dragon Blood buff, it's 9,000 and 9,900 with technical input, right? So it's a lot of damage. And on no Brave points, raw, it would be like 15k, right? So it would kill Nier, for example, straight up. After testing Vayne, U Swing does 3.3k on hits and 1650 on block. That's special, I think. I don't think... He tested with some other U skills. I don't think most U skills do 50% of their base damage as chip on block. Maybe, but I don't think so. Vayne might be hard-coded to have more, because I like this. All the slams do more chip than you'd think. So Vayne might be hard-coded to do more chip on that chip. It's not linear? Is it? Oh, is it additive? Is the Dragon Blood bonus and the Brave Point bonus additive? So is it actually 12,000 damage and not 15,000 damage? Zoe Dragon moves don't... Oh, you're talking about the chip. Oh, okay. Zoe Dragon moves don't do chip based on raw damage? You're sure? You're sure about that? Like, there are lower damage moves? The U skills in particular is what I'm talking about. Okay, sure. Oh my god! Wait, can you kill here? I actually don't... You know, I wonder if a Raging Strike, Raging Chain launch would have killed instead of the U skill right there. I'm not sure, actually. It might have just been heartbreakingly close either way. For instance, H Dragon does less chip than M Dragon, even though it does more damage on hits. Really? I could have sworn it was, you know, I'm going to have to test this out in more detail. I could have sworn it was linear. I'm going to have to test this out in detail on a lot of different moves and see. I'm willing. It is not like a super strongly held conviction that I have, but I thought I knew that. I will take a look at some things and test. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. It surprised me that technical input affects chip damage too. I mean, that, by how I understood it, that would make sense, because technical inputs increases the damage of the move. So if it's a percentage of the damage, then, you know, it will do more chip. But, chip out tier list? That's a fun idea, actually. I expect it's linear for a good chunk of moves? Yeah. Nier is still Queen of Chip? In terms of being... There's sort of two facets to that, right? There is, once you're on Chip, who is the hardest to avoid dying to, right? And also, who is just going to be doing the most chip damage to you throughout the course of a match, right? You hell rat for chip? Yeah, like there's, you know, there's a situation of like, there's who has better checkmate scenarios and just who is going to be doing, like Nier is going to be, of all the characters in the game, Nier is going to do the most chip to you over the course of the round, right? And she's also pretty up there as far as how hard it is to avoid her chip, so. I'm a Sieg main, I'm hard stuck at A5. Happens. It's a very common plateau for lots of people, right? Out. I'd say make sure, like, it's very fundamental based at that point, right? Don't worry too much about your combos or anything like that. Make sure that you're not mashing on wake up. Make sure that you're, you know, again, like, using brave counters, using raging strikes, things like this, at least to some extent, right? Make sure that you're, like, running, you know, you have, like, some plan with how you're running your offense, right? Anila, for instance, has an easy time killing you on chip. Right, but Anila's not necessarily going to be doing, like, you know, 3,000-4,000 chip damage to you every round. Where, like Nier genuinely might be doing, like, you know, 2 to 3 to 4k, depending on what's going on, in just chip damage as the round goes on, right? So there are two sort of paradigms to that. Nier is probably near the top, near the top or at the top for both of them, though. Especially, I mean, Siegfried as well, as far as... this character used to be one of the most fucked up characters. In terms of just how... Because Verdrangen does an absolutely ridiculous amount of chip damage on block. And it used to basically block string directly into a 1-frame spot dodge link into his DP. That is not the case anymore. Vayne will be super high up in both lists. I feel like Vayne will be pretty high up in the chip damage lists. I feel like, I mean, Vayne can M wild beats to checkmate you for spot dodging, right? There are certainly, it's a 50-50. It's not a checkmate as much as it is 50-50, right? Because M wild beat will beat spot dodge, but I feel like avoiding the chip from Vayne is not as hard as some other characters. Yeah, Anila's U butterfly, Anila's U sheep, Matera's U butterfly, yeah. I mean, if Matera's U butterfly might be one of the most, it's not like a checkmate necessarily, but like without setup, like they're just like throwing it at you if you're on chip, it is so hard to not just end up dying to that, right? It follows you for like fucking 8 seconds or something. Vayne's not too bad as far as checkmates, yeah. But he's one of the characters that will be doing just the highest raw amount of chip to you every round, right? For just like blocking slams and stuff like that. If Honky wins against the Fairy once, is she out? I'm not sure how 2v2s work. No, the winners don't have to switch, but they can, right? The winners don't have to switch, but they can. I think people usually do switch just to give like their teammates the chance to play the game. The losers, obviously, like if you're dead, you can't play anymore. Your teammate has to come in and try and reverse 2-0, right? The winners can stay on or they can switch. It's up to them. Honky is an insane name. Honko, yeah. I like Honky. It's a cute name, honestly. I find myself doing a lot of chip with Fairy. Death by 1,000 cuts, but probably, yeah. I think 'cause I played 1-2 against the Fairy. Does she have 1 remaining life? Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, once the first 2 set is over, it's done. Right? So, like, it doesn't carry over. I see what you mean, Mosquito. That makes sense. Honky's a slur? Oh, is it? I didn't know. I apologize. My bad. I'm sorry. I did not... It's not a slur? Okay, well, I mean, if some people, you can't slur white people. I mean, okay, we're not gonna get into this discussion. I mean, even if it's an offensive word, I'm still not, I'm still not, you know, super happy to just be saying it, right? Cute name? I thought it was a funny word, right? I mean, again, ignore the context. It's, you know, it's like honky tonky ponky wonky ronky, right? It's a term sometimes used for white people. It's better not to use it. Yeah. Ow. Sure. It can still be used in a derogatory sense, so still, yeah. I'm not interested in stuff like that. I just straight up did not know. We have to get into a discussion on whether or not some people think it's a slur or not. I really don't care. I'm very, very uninterested in this, right? But my point is more so that some people think it is, and in general, it is obviously clearly a word that is meant to be derogatory to a group of people. Therefore, I have no interest in using it. Very easily. Brick on white, I give you the pass if you want it. I appreciate it, but I don't want it. Biggest slur of all, gamer? Correct. The most disparaged and discriminated against class in all of humanity. Us gamers, man. Might be base and Red Bull to drop it? Yeah, let's stop talking about those fellas. Ow. Okay. Can she not combo off counter hits? 236? 236M in particular? I thought maybe she... No, I guess not. You have a long time to hit confirm that too, right? Alright, so that's dead Sigfrido right there. Was that... Did they win both? I thought... Hold on. No, yeah, Koopa won the first one. Okay, so yeah, comes down... Yeah, Koopa won the first one, Real Cookie lost the second one, so now it's Koopa versus Honk Chu. Let me actually go 1-1 here. I've not been updating the overlay. Yeah, Tubby. I have us dealing with Siegfried, especially as Sandalphon. Having trouble trying to anticipate his stances and such. His stances. If you're talking about, are you talking about Orkin? Because Orkin is usually, for a lot of characters, including Sandalphon, Orkin is actually fake very often. At least it's not nearly as good of mix as you might think, right? So, Siegfried's Orkin, if you have a 7-frame, okay, his Rekka, right, he goes 2-2 into whatever. If you have a 7-frame low move, crouching move, right, that has, like, decent range to it, you can just, whenever you see the start of Orkin, you can just hit that button, and it'll beat every single thing except for Orkin into nothing, if you spaced out far enough, or the parry, right? It'll beat command grab, it'll beat the Uva, it'll beat the upward swing, and if it's a big enough move, or if he spaces it poorly enough, it'll also beat him doing Orkin into nothing. So it turns the entire Rekka into straight up a 50-50 between doing literally anything or doing the parry. And the parry is the lowest reward option out of Orkin, right? So it really neuters the move. Ryu skills seem to do 50% on block and chip damage, cancel would be 25. How interesting. How interesting. But yeah, Orkin is, for a lot of characters, is quite fake. Sandalphon has a 7-frame 2M, right? So Sandalphon can hit 2M. Sandalphon's 2M is not the biggest thing in the world. You know, you would rather have an even bigger 7-frame button, but from most spacings, if you see it, like, try it out in train mode right now. Have a Siegfried do all the different Orkin follow-ups, and then, and then rotate through them. And you can 2M literally all of them. And I think Sandalphon's 2M is big enough that it should even catch Orkin into nothing sometimes. Every time a Shalana's on screen, I hope there's someone with a meaty demon flip low and it's 1 billion active frames. They didn't make it plus in the 1.5 patch, I think, right? Soy versus H Orkin, right? Oh, yeah. I actually don't know. Well, what I'm talking about is definitely correct versus H Orkin, yes. I actually have no idea about the other ones. The other ones, in general, are, like, are a lot slower, though, right? So I think there's this gap. There's a lot, like, if anything, I would imagine... No, L Orkin starts up faster, but I think the follow-ups are slower or worse, right? Or is less hit stun or block stun? There's less block stun and hit stun, right? I'm not sure. Yeah, what I'm talking about is H Orkin. I'm actually not sure. I would imagine that they work even better against, like, L and M Orkin or something like that, right? U Orkin is even a Rekka. It's a canned animation. But... what'd you say? Sandy can do what now? Sandy can hit pretty reliably? Oh, yeah. His 2M is big enough, right? Wall Brawl, is this a weekly? That's correct. The Wednesday one is intermediate every week, and the open one is open every week. So intermediate as in master players not allowed in the Wednesday bracket. If you've reached master with any character ever, even if you're on a secondary or a tertiary or whatever, you still can't join. Open is everyone. Whether you're D rank or Grandmaster, everyone can join the open. This happens every week. This is, what is this? This is our, like, this is a different tournament, though? I mean, yeah, but it's still the same idea, right? Rick, I have a question, if that's okay. Sure, yeah. I mean, no, if it's a weird question, no guarantees I'll answer it, but you can certainly ask it. It's a different, yeah, I mean, it's still Wall Brawl. That's still intermediate Wall Brawl. It's just that it's 2v2 versus, instead of 1v1. I think this is our 56th week of Wall Brawls or something. Why is it a 2v2 sometimes? People like to do them, apparently, right? People were telling me to try it once. People seem to enjoy it, so now every now and then I do it. I honestly have been thinking of adding, like, different, like, the Wall Brawl is, at the end of the day, like, it's a for-fun community tournament, right? So I've been thinking of even trying to brainstorm and add, like, new formats and stuff like that, right? Instead of just, like, 1v1 or 2v2. Maybe we can do, like, not like, recurring, necessarily, but it's, like, trying them out every now and then for fun, right? Like, maybe we could do, like, a Lunalu-only bracket. Maybe we could do, like, a crew battles, like, style thing instead, right? Or instead of, like, a proper tournament, it's, like, 10v10 or something like that, right? Steal some other ideas from, like, smarter people. I was given a very advanced game plan for my rank, and while I can do it in casual, I don't do it in rank because they let me get away with my old and stupid game plan. Should I keep doing my stupid game plan until I'm forced to do more advanced things? Yes. Understand? I think it's the short answer is yes. The longer answer is a bit more complicated. It's good to recognize, because you recognize that, like, this game plan isn't gonna work forever, and that's something I have to keep in mind. Then yes, right? Knowing what is, the better thing to do is definitely good, but you don't have, like, playing the character at a more simplistic level that you are more capable of consistently pulling off in the short term and the medium term is going to be better for you, I think, right? Forcing yourself to play, and also, even more so, because people who... those advanced game plans may very well be designed to defeat gameplay that is simply not happening at your rank, right? They might be designed around, you know, people delay teching, where they might not be delay teching in lower ranks. They might be designed around the idea that people, you know, don't mash as much in higher ranks as in lower ranks, or that there are going to be certain options that are used more frequently, or what have you, right? So, for multiple reasons, it's good to recognize that this is a game plan that I may have to, you know, adapt, or I may have to change, or I may have to completely come off of as I rank up. If the fact that you know that is, you've already, you know, that's the biggest plot hole, or the biggest pothole, I suppose, the biggest pitfall. You've already avoided that. Great job. From that point onwards, it's okay. Do what works for now, and once it stops working, figure out something else. Once that stops working, figure out something else. You know, piecemeal improvements on what you're doing. I hope that answers your question, Cardinal. Thanks, Sensei Brick. Thank you. But yeah, short answer, yes. Long answer, yes. Much appreciated on that in-depth explanation, of course. I hope it made sense. I swear to God, it still amazes me, even as logical as it is, how absolutely fucking effective simple fundamentals and game plans are, even when going against very high levels of play. Yeah, I mean, listen, man, like at a certain point, right, when the only time that fundamentals don't become like the thing that wins you the game, and even then, a lot of the times they're still a very big contributing factor, but it's when everyone has really strong fundamentals. Once you get to a high enough level, everyone is doing all of the basic stuff really well, right? At that point, you need, like, those, you know, like, the amount of damage you're getting on your hits, like, how optimized your combos are, right? Like the character you're playing, things like this. Like, that starts to matter a lot more. But, for, like, a long time, right? You can, like, I mean, look no further than the road to Masters for every single character that I've done so far as evidence of that, right? I have not played any of the characters that I've gotten to master even close to optimally, not even for like an S++, right? Normally when if you see me match up, you know, I'm playing Abel and I match up against another Abel in a mirror match, or if I'm playing, you know, Eustace and I fight another Eustace or something like that, right? Usually the guy that I'm playing in S++, like a proper actual S++ Eustace understands the character way better than I do, right? And they can, like, they have way better, more optimized combos. They have better setups, right? They're using more of the tools, the toolkit, and they're using it in a more varied and, like, intelligent way. But it's just, you know, the fundamentals just make up for that for such a long time, right? Usually, I try to find something that's, like, that seems cheap and broken, come up with a simple game plan, and then just, like, fundy my way to victory, right? I'm doing the exact same thing with Abel. I mean, Narmaya is probably the single biggest example of that, right? But all right, so I believe that brings us to Granathan Finals as Honko right there. Closes out that set. So now we have Mungus. I believe that was 2-1 versus team name right there. 1 sec. Norm got Norm. So true. Like a Matrix. You know, like the Matrix operation. Like the operation on matrices. Versus Charlotta, it's generally better to just crouch block if she does the overhead. It's lowest to work compared to the other options. That's correct, yeah. The flip overhead, funny enough, I believe, does have a high enough clash level based on what we were talking about. I think it does crush your 2H if you're late on it, but yes. If you can't react to Demon Flip, because the real thing to do against Demon Flip is react to it in 2H, and then you kill her, right? But if you can't, yeah, just crouch block. The command grab whiffs, you'll block everything else. Some things will be plus, but you'll block them at the very least. And the overhead does like 1,200 damage, something like that. It's really not a big deal. But Demon Flip is, you know, it's his internet blipped for a sec. He's coming back. That's fine. Well, we can talk about this for a second here. Let me know when you guys are ready to go, Hogan. But yeah, Demon Flip is, like, it is pretty reactable, right? At the grand scheme of things. Like, what is the fastest option out of this? What will be the best character if stuff that looked like overheads were overheads? That's a very complicated question. Because what? It would have to be a character where that stuff that looked like overheads was unreactable. Like, it was a really fast move, looked like an overhead, right? Yeah, Demon Flip is, so that's 45 right there. What is this? This is like, how deep into that animation was I before I stabbed? Let me get fast cooldowns on real quick. So that was like 9 frames, and then it was like 20 something plus 9. So this is like, even this, I think this is the fastest option on Demon Flip, I think, right? It's like 30 something frames. Let's see. I wish I could like pause right before. Hold on. Looks like it was 27, right? Is how fast you can act out a demon flip. Did any Charlotta main know this off the top of their head? It looks like it's 27 frames is the fastest you can cancel out of a demon flip, right? Sorry, I wish I had the frame meter mods to go frame by frame. It looks like 27. Right. So this is 36 frames. So, you know, most characters have an 11 frame 2H, which means that even this, the fastest option, is a 25 frame reaction check, right? Mr. Streamer, non-alt specials do chip equally, canceled or not? Weird. All 50%? Really? Oh, non-alt specials. Oh, I see what you mean. Huh. How odd. Yeah, the command grab, I mean, maybe it's oh yeah, the command grab is 12 frame, 8 frame. Why is it different sometimes? Weird. Huh. But yeah, so Demon Flip is pretty reactable, right? So like, she can mix it up with this. Like, the answer to this is also 2H, just on a slightly different timing, correct? Yeah, like, if you see Charlotta go into the air, it's usually a good idea, like, you know, crouch blocking is the safest thing to do, but realistically, right, you should just, like, send her straight to hell and go from there. Though, so you have a close H count as an overhead. It kind of looks like one, right? She go, like, he slaps you from up, mate, you know? That is an unreactable overhead on a grappler. Thor's close end. Maybe, yeah. It'd have to be stuff like that, right? Like a character that would just have an unreactable overhead like that is probably what it would be. That's a whole stream. Yeah. If moves that looked like overheads were overheads, who would be the best character in the game? Happy to say my autopilot has improved significantly since we last talked about it. I can anti-air consistently now. I can spot dodge RS sometimes, and my general reactions have improved to a noticeable degree. This is really exciting for me. That's awesome, man. It is really, really satisfying when you feel like stuff that you were struggling with or that you were working on for a long time, when you actually start to feel like consistently, like it's just who you are now. Like you're just not the guy who struggles to anti-air anymore. That shit is very, very fun, right? GG falling would be an overhead then? Yeah, okay. Demon Flip is then most effective as a knowledge check / conditioning tool. Yes. It is not, like, Demon Flip is a big risk for stand ready for sheep damage. All good? Okay. Demon Flip is it is not a safe thing for her to just throw out, right? It is a pretty slow reaction check. If you have a DP, by the way, it's even, like, it's lower reward, sure, but it's even faker, right? Because at that point, a 36 frame move is a 35 frame reaction check. If you have a frame 1 invuln DP you can do to answer it, you're not going to get big combos on that. But at that point, it's like, dude, you're getting hit by, you know, at that point, getting hit by Charlotta's Demon Flip is the same as getting hit by Ladiva 5U in that case, right? 35 frame reaction check over half a second. It's too much. So Charlotta uses it. She mixes it up because it can look at a glance to your brain, especially if you're like, you know, panicked or if your mental stack is poorly configured as a result of conditioning, right? It can look like her jump arc, and the timings to 2H both of those are different, right? So she can use it, like, if you use it as like a tricksy thing there, but Demon Flip, yeah, it's a very risky thing for Charlotta to do outside of like a combo, basically. Overlay, Mr. Brick? Oh, I did change the overlay, but I did not change the fact this is Grand Finals, and it is Mungus, if I remember correctly, yeah, who are coming in from loser's side right here. So, okay, here's how it's gonna work, right? So it's the same thing. This is first twos between each individual player, right? So Dom, Mosquito, and Norm right here, once again, are playing a first to two. That'll eliminate whoever loses. Then their teammate will come up, and if their teammate loses, if it is Shield and Sheep who loses, then we'll play the second. We'll have, like, you know, a whole new, like, both of them get revived, and we go again, right? If it's Mungus that loses, the tournament's over. Classic, same sort of style as the Grand Finals always will be, except again, it's the full team gets eliminated, and then they get eliminated again, right? Is how it works. Who do you think has been the most interesting DLC character so far? For me, it's Versuja. Interesting in terms of just, like, I guess, in terms of, like, you know, there's the most discussion about them. They are, you know, unique and interesting to play, stuff like that. Probably, yeah. Because Versuja really is just DLC Vasaraga, right? And I think, is Anila not playing for Team Shield and Sheep? Oh, she totally is. I just have the names backwards, my bad. Vasaraga, interesting turn games. Yeah. Vasaraga, I think, is one of the more unique characters in the video game, right? And Versuja is basically just, like, you know, higher power level DLC Vasaraga. So Versuja probably is up there. Ow. Yeah, that's the other thing too. People do not want to. People don't want to give that bitch any props, right? Which whatever. But like, listen, man, 2B is very unique as well. And honestly, I don't think her like people people think the gameplay is boring, which like I guess whiffing the specials a lot of the time and stuff like that. There are certain aspects to it, but I do like the fact that 2B does just completely change. Like the way you play against her is so different, right, than most other characters. Now, most people would say 2B interesting, Resident Sleeper, Baby Rage, etc. But I don't know, I like her. 2B is unique, though she does look boring to play. I think 2B is more boring to fight against, which is why people don't like fighting her, right? I love 2B to have to deal with JH. I think 2B probably would be pretty fun to play. I think she's pretty boring to fight. Is why people are generally not super big fans of her. 2B post nerfs is much more fair. Pre nerfs, I was not a fan. What is Baby Rage from? It's a Twitch emote. An old, it's one of the old legacy ones like Kappa and shit like that.
Battle 2. Engage.
Versucha's like Voss in terms of wanting both of them to step on you. Yeah, for sure. That's yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure. I thought you were saying earthy in like a joke way. I did not realize you didn't realize but Galleon is literally the Earth Dragon. Also, now you can cancel into booty install, so that's a plus. True. Best character in the game. Don't mind me just jerking it to 2B fanfiction. Oh. Away! I want to understand the argument for Anila being bottom 1. Is this that she does no damage when she hits you? That's not necessarily always true, but her damage is certainly quite low, right? Buster Wool, so true. I don't think Anila's amazing, by the way, but I feel like, I have her like a full like 2 tiers above, like I feel like Anila's like a, top of like low mid tier sort of character, and a lot of people are saying she's like literally bottom 1, which that's like 15 spots right there. Anila's not bottom 1 though, it's probably not even bottom 5. People say that a lot though. I do want to know what the idea was, because like her reward on her hits is quite low a lot of the times, and therefore I understand like she's not amazing. But she is I don't know, she still is a very versatile character, right? Like she still has like a complete kit. It's just that her, like she has a bunch of moves that like work and do things, and a fireball and good normals, like very good pokes. One of the best fireballs in the entire game, right? She does have like some actual pretty high mid-screen. She has really good anti-air, right? Her fireballs are bad fireballs, and like like her, a lot of her stuff is like bad Shoto stuff, but like compare her to Eustace damage. Yeah, she does a lot more damage in the mid-screen than Eustace, certainly. Unless Eustace has H-Grenade on it, in which case, ow. Anil and Zoe both function just not that well. Yeah, to me, Anil and Zoe to me are both characters that do everything pretty badly. Or at least, they, like, but the versatility there I will still always value over a character that does one thing super well and just kind of flounders otherwise, right? I think she's just average. She's below average. But it's like such a big gap from her being like a lower mid-tier character, like bottom half of the cast, like the 12th worst character in the game or something like that, to her being bottom 1, and people are being like, Anila is fucking dead, please help. Oh my god. Save me. Good 2H. Greg and I have talked a good bit about both characters. He thinks post 2.0 the H sheep buff is pretty big for her. That's fair. And she gets what, like 2L far L into H sheep now? She didn't get that before, right? Speaking of damage, yeah. So like Vayne, for example, Vayne, on average, he's gonna be doing a lot more damage, especially post mid-screen buffs and stuff like that. Vayne's gonna hit a lot harder than Anila will, but there's just, there's parts of Vayne that just like straight up don't work against a large part of the cast, right? The largest part of the player base, the kind of players that won't see the value in a Shoto all around their moveset. Yeah. And again, by no means am I like, this Anila character is actually pretty strong, guys. No, Anila's like, I wouldn't mind like some Anila buffs, but like, she seems like definitely like a slight cut above the characters that I would actually think are like in contention for worst in the game. I have yet to go on my Shoto player rant. Arg Shoto players. Ooh, JU just spaced him out of U-flip, sure thing. But one day I will. Tubby's racist crash out on Shoto players. Local Zoe Chummer, Tubby 44. Sentenced to jail after anti-Shoto racist crash out. These jumps are not working, I'm afraid. Yeah. Not ARG so much as them being odd. Interesting. How would you even buff Anila? She seems like one small buff away from being crazy like what happened to Cats. Dalahan, you are exactly right. I would actually say that Anila right now is very similar. Maybe a little worse, but in my opinion, not really. Very similar to patch like 1.4 Catalina, right? Catalina, to me, was a character who was pretty, like, she was very solid. She had very good buttons, right? She had like a good 6XL. She had all of this. She just like didn't really do that much when she hit you, unless it was in the corner in very certain circumstances, in which case every character is high damage, right? And then, you know, they did? They made her damage way higher off every individual hit with the roller skate changes, and then she's, like, fighting for top 1, right? So I feel like, you know, something like that, like they gave Anila, like, you know, some more consistent conversions is already a pretty good way to buff her without going crazy with it, right? Wait, was that 1-1? I guess that was 2-1, huh? Okay. I thought that was the first game. They gave Cat corner to corner carry, made her 5U busted. Yeah, so again, but you know, Catalina's big weakness really was that her reward was not good, and they were just like, well, her reward's best in the game now. So I do be struggling with Vayne. That's fair. I think the Anila thing basically comes down to asking who is she actually better than when the usual suspects have been getting buffed and doing well. Yeah, I mean, we can certainly go through that. At the very least, I mean, listen, maybe this, I understand, Razzle, that you, but like, I like Vayne at the very least. I would definitely say. I'll probably also say Vikala. I mean, honestly, I mean Nier, I would say as well, personally. Right, a lot of these like very jagged characters that are very good at one thing, right? Me personally, I still just don't get it at all with this Charlotta lady, right? She feels like she doesn't do anything to me, but again, I understand that I'm in the minority there compared to a lot of people, right? As of right now, again, listen, these two are, I'm not very confident in either of these two, but both Lwain and Duel are not super inspiring to me. They definitely can cook. Everyone can cook, right? But I don't really, I don't see it, but again, I could very much see myself being like up to 2 tiers wrong on both of those characters, right? Like, I can think of characters that I would say are pretty definitively, they don't feel as good as Anila to me. On paper, I agree with you about Potato, but when I fight her, I get murdered. I mean, I don't, yeah. Maybe I'm wrong. What is the minimum percentage of meter you need to do a Raging Strike follow-up after receiving BP? 25. 25 meter is what it costs, right? I'm definitely Team Yuel's pretty strong right now. I am not against that. Like, I am not against the idea that could be correct anyway, right? She doesn't feel like super strong to me as a guy who doesn't understand the character, right? So that's that you know, her and Lwain are both like that to me. They don't feel necessarily crazy good, but I also, they're the two characters that I understand the least, right? So I'm totally open to the idea that I'm actually, also, this is, I think you're dead. Is this 2-0? Or was this the... Hogan may or may not be marching towards tournament point here, potentially. But yeah, like, I can definitely see myself being, like, really wrong about both Lwain and Duel, right? This is the first match? Well, I mean, but, this, well, no, because, he killed, this is the first, okay, no, you're saying that this is the first match between them, yeah. I was like, he killed you, but, yeah. So, that right there is a tough situation, right? Because, Vayne, like, when he does that, light wild beat, you can spot dodge, right? Sure. But M wild beat will catch your spot dodge. So that is kind of a 50-50 for game, potentially, there on chip. Okay. Destruct 2-0. That's pretty good damage, considering there wasn't even a super involved there, I'd say. How do you beat the M version? You block it. It's minus. In that situation, DP. DP, stay away from it, right? It's really hard, like, you can't spot dodge it. I don't think you can roll it either. No versus chip out? I think you're fucked. Slight delay in spot dodge? Right, no, right, yes, because it does have a much slower start out, right? It has a much slower start up. That's right. So it's a 50-50 between spot dodge immediately. It's very exact. Yeah, it is very tough, but I think, yes. Because it does have a it has a slow enough startup, you could work it out. But yeah, so, you know, Vayne, that is a very fucked up chip situation, though, for sure. Ow. Vayne's anti-airs are pretty good. Yep, that is the thing, right? That is the thing. Like, hitting you really hard on certain starters is like the one thing that Vayne excels at. And also, invalidating like 1% of the cast. Are you dead? Yeah, nice. Okay, okay. I really struggle versus Vayne using that move for that exact reason. It's also really nice because if he's in the corner and you spot dodge and he wild beats you, it wall bounces on counter hits, right? If I remember correctly. But usually when you're not on chip, every wild beat is just minus. So you just block them and then go from there, right? Sure. So this, I believe, is tournament points. This is, oh god! Well, oh, that could have been the kill right there, actually. Let's look. Oh, yeah. Again, listen. Razzle, I know you mentioned that you didn't really agree that Charlotta was that struggled that much against Vayne. I mean, it seems really tough, right? It's because her normal neutral skip, her Blanca ball gets shut down pretty hard by, or Honda headbutt, I suppose, gets shut down pretty hard by the shield, and she can jump, sure, but I mean, it's a character you don't want to jump against more than almost anyone, right? I mean, she can't just run through the shield like everyone else, I suppose. But how fast is Charlotta's dash speed, actually? I feel like I don't know that offhand. How fast is Charlotta's dash speed? Is it... In my head, I feel like she is not super fast, even though she's like a rushdown-y character. Maybe I'm wrong, though. Charlotta, where is she? There she is. What is her dash speed? Dash initial speed, 92.6. Dash acceleration speed, 111. What does that compare to, Gran? Yeah, so she is a little bit slower. It's because her tiny legs, I suppose. -5, -8, -8, -6, respectively for Vayne stabs. Wait. Is M-Wild Beats punishable by some people? How far away does M-Wild Beat leave you? I did not know that. I did not know they were -8 for the M and H versions. Because the L1 is, they cooked with these April Fool's character illustrations. Yeah, I'm a big fan. Indeed. You got a double dragon again? Indeed, you do. I'm going to require both of you to get on that cabinet and play a best of 5 to determine scientifically who carried who. So I'm going to need you to get in there. If you're close up, yeah, you can just get smacked for it. I mean, I guess they are pretty big stabs, right? So we could space it out enough that even -8 is safe against most characters, right? Maybe not like Versuja 2M or something, but off close XXX. I did not know that. Yeah, that's actually really good. Good to know, to kill Vayne with, that is. I did not know that the M and H one were -8. It's crazy. I honestly didn't even know the light one was -5. It's -5? I had no idea. Had to get up in 4 hours thanks to the games. That was fun. Hope you had a good time, Mosquito. Well done, well done. Let me switch this up now. So now it's no longer team names. It looks rough because he's trying to force his way in against his owner. I suppose. But I feel like, yes, you can always just, slowly, walk up and spot dodge and things like this. Vayne zoning is, it's possible to get around for everyone, right? And Charlotta is not necessarily as slow as, Vasaraga, to the point that actually, moving up like that is, notably difficult. But it does, I feel like it does, shut down a lot of the tools that she might otherwise use in neutral against other characters, right? Else that was -5, doesn't sound right. I mean, most of the times, Vaynes don't use it from anywhere punishable. They're not in close L punish distance, right? Ow. Don't own Vayne. I really don't know the matchup. Should have played it much slower. I mean, at the very least, it seems like, it might be a matchup. Some matchups require specific counterplay, but aren't actually that bad if you implement said counterplay. So it's possible maybe that Charlotta Vayne is like that for Charlotta, where if you try to play it like a normal matchup, you're going to get your shit rocked, and it's going to feel like it's 7-3. But maybe there are specific things that Potato can do that make the matchup much more tenable. It's very possible. Though a lot of the times, if matchups require specific counterplay, it's usually counterplay that is not exactly how your character wants to play the game, and they kind of forces you off some of your better tools, and that usually tends to be a problem, right? Vayne has the best and worst matchups in the game, and he's kind of gross to balance. Yeah, I mean, there's a reason, right? I made that video recently. Oh, nice. I made that video recently about, you know, maybe how we might potentially buff Vayne without breaking him, right? But there's a very good reason that, like, even among archetypes that they are usually very careful with, right, zoners, they buffed Fairy quite a lot. They buffed Matera a lot. They buffed Mikala, like, a good amount. And they just kind of, like, left Vayne alone in 2.0. Because, like, he probably is, of all the characters they've designed, he probably is the one that they are the most scared of, right? Ow, ow. Like the one that they just, like, they just don't know what to do with him. So they're like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm not saying this is correct, and they should do this, but they might just be like, I don't know, man. Better him be weak than, like, we're too good or something. And that's not right? But it does feel like they just kind of, like, gone, I don't know, man. I just got to S+, won my first set 2-0. It feels so much better knowing I got here through almost only gap. I feel like I deserve to be up here. Interesting. They fear the broken ass Vayne, and many will tell you we already live in this universe. Vayne top 5. He just won on my screen. That means he's top 1. Those are the rules. Those are the rules. How can you be scared of him? He's a cutie. Ignore the anti-air combos. Yeah, and the bulging, rippling muscles. And the fact that he can spin an axe fast enough that it can give, like, some amount of lift to a fully grown man. Just, like, I actually want to know, you know, if someone has, like, way too much time on their hands and is also really good at math, and, like, for some reason has, like, the fucking, like, aerodynamics knowledge to do this, how fucking hard, like, how fast does Vayne have to be spinning that axe to, like, literally provide himself, like a good foot of fucking lift? This, I mean, that's like a, with the armor and everything, that's like a 250-pound man with the armor, right? If they're winning on my screen, they have honest footsies. I understand now, forgiven. That makes sense. Don't feel too much vainglory, but good job. Vainglorious bastards. Bulging, rippling, what now? Now hold on a second. I said muscles. You can think about something else, bulging and rippling and being super veiny and TSPMO. I get it. But he spins like a helicopter with a halberd. Yeah, but again, like, that is not, like, you know, how first off, like, that thing is really heavy, right? But it's also, like, it's not that much of a propeller, right? Like, it's not designed to be like that. Like, how fast do you have to fucking spin that thing to, like, carry Veiny? Yeah. To carry a grown mech? You're saying Bradley Martin weighs more than Vayne with armor? He's 260. I mean, Vayne is a lot shorter than him, though. How tall is Vayne? Vayne looks like he's... I mean, Anil is like 5 feet tall, right? I'm 260, bro. I'm 260. But I'm 260. I know he's a black belt, but I'm 260. He used the Mjolnir to spin lift. What's a poor patat to do against a hungry dog with big-ass buttons? Parrish, perhaps? The ramifications? He looks a solid 6 feet to me? Then perhaps. Because he's a muscular boy, right? Then which case, I was thinking he was like, you know... I was thinking Vayne was like 5'9", like 220 or something like that. And, like, his armor would be like another 30-40 pounds. Is armor that heavy? How heavy is a suit of full plate? Charlotte Vayne matchup is so cheeks. It looks tough. It certainly looks tough for her from an outsider perspective. Ooh, okay. Is 6 foot that tall? No, I'm more so talking about, like, you know, the weights associated with it, right? Like someone of this height, you know, or someone of this build is gonna weigh very different things. Like a very muscular, like, stout man like this is gonna weigh very different things depending on how tall they are, right? Like, if Vayne is like 5'5", maybe he's like, you know, even if he's like a shorter guy, he might still... Oh, that's gonna kill you. Yep. Even if he's a shorter guy, he might still weigh like 200 pounds. With how he's really bulky, right? He's built like a fucking Dorito. He's kind of snatched at the same time. So, if I remember correctly, IRL plate armor is surprisingly light. Like, it's actually less heavy than fireman gear. Really? But, you know, if Vayne is 5'11", yeah, but if he's 5'9", if he's 6 feet, if he's 6'5", like that, you know, every one of those bumps is. I mean, I'm no, you know, personal trainer, whoever the fuck, whoever would have like the best knowledge of this, I suppose, for like how muscular someone who looks like that would be. I got the guy who helps people make weight for UFC fights. Who knows? But what is like a 3-inch difference in height? Like, if he's, you know, someone who's built like this and is 5'9", how different would you expect it to be from someone who's 6 feet? Probably not a lot, right? Maybe like a 5 pound difference. There's more human there, right? There's like just more person. which means there's probably like there's more muscle there as well. It's like in terms of like assuming they are built the exact same way. Rick's 5'9", right? That's right. Yeah. I'm 5'9". I'm an average boy. I've been told by people in this chat that I both have small energy and tall energy, so who knows? I guess it averages out. Ow. Ow. I guess how heavy is fireman gear? I feel like I don't have a good context for that either. Because that shit's heavy, right? That shit's like, you know, mid double digits of pounds, right? All the shit they're wearing. If I were less than 6'3", I'd float off the ground with a balloon. Yeah, I had a roommate in university, college for the Americans, who was out. Who was oh, you're dead, I think. Oh no! He was like 6'3" and like 125 pounds or something like that in first year. He has since like been eating a lot more and working out and stuff like that. And now he's like 180. He looks great, but he was like 6'3", like 130 or something like that. And he just he was so skinny, man. It was like worryingly skinny. 6'3", 125 is diabolical. He was, bro looks like he would like, you know, if a strong breeze hit him, he would snap in half. Rick, you're tall where it counts your heart. Thank you very much. Also, confirmed, Vayne better than Anila. I take it all back. We saw it happen right there. It was 3-0, right? Vayne is broken ass top 1 Vayne. Anila's bottom 1. You guys were all right, and I was wrong. That's on me. Hey, it takes a big man. You know, it takes a big man. Was it best of 5, right? Yep. It takes a big man to... Was that not 3-0? I came late, but Hogan doing well is always nice to see. Indeed. Always fun to see a Vayne cook. Nerfs needed? Exactly. It takes a big man to admit it, but... And I may be 5'9", but I'm big where it counts, I've been told. And I was incorrect. Vayne is top 1. Anila is bottom 1. Remove this character from the video game immediately. That's on me. That's my bad. Was it 3-0, Mr. Streamer? Yes? Yeah. Broken ass Vayne. Please, emergency nerfs. If we can't get emergency nerfs, at the very least, remove him from the game in the Galleon patch, and we'll be right as rain side games. Thank you very much. But yeah, that is gonna do it for the intermediate 2v2 bracket. Neela is so ass, just the sheep she hides in there. That's like way more impressive than Beatrix's donut, honestly. Delete shield, delete Vayne. Like what if we just went onto the character select screen and it just like there was no one there, you know? Like you go bonk and like there was just like there's another Lancelot here or another Percival or something like that because he won Arc World Tour. Just replace Vayne with a second copy of Percival. Exactly the same, not a different character. Just like put this icon here twice. Vayne Mia? No, she plays Fairy. When are we getting Villainous again? Probably like August. I would imagine Galleon is like a month away, like a month and a half away, or I'm missing an action. Yeah. And then Villainous would be like, I mean, I would imagine he's coming like 3 months after her, right? There should be about a 3-month gap between every DLC if there's 5 DLC characters and we want it to last a year, right? So Sandalphon comes out 3 months, Galleon 3 months, Villainous 3 months, Meg 3 months, Ilsa is what I would expect. So that Ilsa basically comes out at the exact same time that Sandalphon came out. And Season 3 will be 3 months after that. So I would expect like Galleon in like mid-May, Villainous in like August, like mid-August, late August, right? Meg in like November, and Ilsa in like February, I would imagine. You found that Vayne's shield is too oppressive, so now it disappears after 1 second. Yeah. Mr. Brick, we get to pick a video to be made? Yeah, absolutely. You can decide amongst yourselves and let me know what it is. I will actually do it as well, because I think... did I do your last one? I might not have. I think I did your last one. Envision Wellness just being big Soras? Oh, just being Soras? Yeah, I imagine him was like... Yeah, like, somehow... he might... Like, Villainous is actually one of the first DLC characters ever that I'm like looking at him like really like am I gonna... is this gonna be a character that I'm like genuinely going to consider playing like for a long time? Because in my head right now, my ideal reality is that he is somehow bigger, slower, more damaging Soras, which sounds ridiculous, right? The scenario tier list? What is that? What is the scenario tier list? Oh, yeah, no, the super tier list was you guys, right? He's my style of character. Yeah, he looks like he's gonna be a big body, right? Big body DLC. I'm always happy for it. How would that work? I don't know. Giving Soras a command grab, and I don't know. But he's gonna be massive, so he might be slower than Soras. Yeah, like just like have him be a faster Vasaraga that does that has more plus frames or less plus frames, but more plus frames but like less damage or something like that. I don't know. Imagine it being like Smash Bowser in a way. I'm very excited for it regardless. I think Like one of the sketches and frames they had him. Faster Vastraga sounds disgusting, I can't lie. But not, he doesn't have like Soul Forge and shit like that, I mean, right? Just like in the sense that he's like that big and that's like he's like a little faster, but does something like that, right? Thor is slow, you say to yourself, as his Lariat is coming right after you, yeah. Johnny if he was Vastraga, yeah. Villainous with Waldstein's grab into body. I read that as booty slam, I don't know why. What do we think Meg is? I think, yeah, it's gonna be Cammy. He's Cammy, right? Like he even looks like fucking Cammy. He's gonna be like a fast like Trixie sort of like rush down waifu, I think, right? He's got a dive kick for sure. I can already see it in my mind's eye. I can see the dive kick. It's right there. But yeah, fellas, who wants to booty slam? Who am I to disagree? Your spine will not enjoy it, but you might, your final moments you will be coming. That's true. But for now, I'm going to call it here, I think, fellas. I suppose. I hope Meg's Shark's an important part of her kits. True, yeah. Probably like some like mild like half summon stuff going on. But yeah, tomorrow is the open bracket, so be sure to come by and hang out there or sign up as well. There's no restrictions on that one, obviously. Whether you're Master or D rank, everyone can join. Just get a friend and 2v2 to your heart's content. And yeah, I'll see you then. I suppose we can find someone to raid on Twitch potentially, but I am going to end the stream on YouTube right now. So have a wonderful day, YouTube. I'll see you tomorrow. Zoe